Look, Clarence, mate, it doesn't matter how many times we get beat down. What matters is that we get the fuck up, and we keep fucking trying. You're right, Donny. Now, who the fuck are you, mate? I'm Clarence Claymore. Who the fuck are you, mate? I'm Clarence Claymore. Say it with your fucking chest. I'm Clarence Claymore. Show me what you got, mate. Take that. Fucking touch me, cunt. Fuck, mate. We got a lot of work to do.
Hey Dad, do an impression of Joe Biden explaining the plot to Star Wars.
So there's a galaxy parked on the side of the a long time ago, back when I was working full time at anyway, I was the head of the embassy. It doesn't matter. Far away, there was galaxy and there were robots, and the robots. They were not the droids you were looking for.
Attention, Starbucks. I'd like to give one person the opportunity to buy me a coffee. In exchange, I'll sit down with you for 5 minutes to discuss my world-class crypto trading strategies. Anybody? You may be wondering why, if I'm so wealthy, well, Bitcoin's down right now, so I'm struggling a little bit. Nobody. Wow. Oh, you'll buy me a coffee? Oh, thank you. Wow, that's crazy, man.
What the fuck are you wearing, bro?
Yeah, man, got into crypto. Windfall, bitch. A couple of these altcoins in the portfolio went through the roof. And them NFTs I copped, yeah, up like 100x.
Whoa.
Thought my MetaMask wallet was gonna blow the server. IYKYK. If you know, you know. That's all I'm saying. Shit. It all tanked, bro. Some whales must have swam through. Rug pull on the NFTs. Market's on a downswing. ETH's dropping like a landslide. I'm hurting, baby.
Bro, that was 2 seconds ago.
You don't understand the game. It's brutal. You think you can Venmo me like $5, man? I'll get you back, I promise.
Yeah, chill, man. I got you. Jeez. That go through?
Yep. Took those $5, threw it down on a meme coin, a little gaming token I heard about on Reddit. Just did my research. Do your own research. It's not a big deal, so back to the moon. Hodl on this one all day. Oh, boy. You think you can Venmo me another $5?
Dude, the world is on fire. 90% of my kitty cat tokens are down. 90%. Japan is down too? Shit, how much of Japan am I holding? I don't see it on Binance, dude. Are you sure that's a token? Of the country? Dude, I don't care about the country, man. I'm talking about crypto.
Yo, Pat. You said you wanted to talk, bro? Oh, shit.
You know that crypto dip you told me to buy, Blake?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, it kept fucking dipping, and I kept fucking buying like you told me to.
I'm sorry, bro.
And now I'm down 80% on all my positions, and my rent's due in 2 days, and I have no money in my bank.
Bro, what are you talking about? You're literally driving a Lambo, dog.
You know it's rented, Blake.
Oh, my God.
I'll return it tomorrow morning.
Jesus Christ, bro. I'm sorry. All right, but the bull run's literally already over, dude. You should have taken profits. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
What the fuck did you just say?
So the bull run's over, bro.
What do you mean the bull run's over? You're fucking over!
Yeah!
You're over! You're over!
I recently came to the realization that I don't actually need therapy. I just need a bad bitch. I just need a bad bitch. And the only way to get a bad bitch is with slightly bigger muscles and more money. That's what's been stopping me. The key to happiness this whole time has been vanity and materialism. I've been worrying about things like intimacy, finding like-minded individuals, and meaningful work, when really, I just needed to start taking steroids and doing summer sales. Because that's what other people look for and desire in a partner, is money and slightly bigger muscles.
These Nazi blood-sucking anti-American parasites that want to make you and your family slaves know that we are standing up against them, and we are red-blooded, and we are not slaves, and we are not bowing down to them. I'm not bowing down. I'm at the tip of the spear. I get death threats every day. And you know what? I am honored to be who I am. I'm honored to just be an average person that stood up 15 years ago and said, I'm going to defend the Republic. I'm going to defend the family. I'm going to defend the Second Amendment. I'm going to fight against abortion. I'm going to see what happens when I really take action. And we have laid waste to the enemy. If you simply unloose yourselves and become the leaders you are, we will sweep this scum into the gutter. We will defeat the New World Order. We will crush the tyranny. Second hour, straight ahead. Stay with us.
Fuck ISIS! Fuck terrorists! Fuck turbans! Fuck everybody! I hate all you motherfuckers! We're fucking Americans! That means nobody fucking stops us! We want our dick sucked, we get our dick sucked! That's what an American does! Ask the fucking pilgrims! Fuck 9/11! Fuck 9/11! It'll never happen again! We're America! You don't ever have to be afraid again! Fuck Obama! Fuck them all! We're Americans, you son of a bitch! Grab your guns! Go shoot somebody!
Don't gamble. Oh yeah, don't gamble money that you can. Man. I mean, unless it's a lock. There's no such thing as a lock. That's the thing. Unless it's a lock. If it's a lock, oh my God, it's a little different.
Stop gambling, alright? You're one spin away from generational wealth. Your daughter's college tuition is one spin away. Put your life savings on black. Remember that. Just go to Vegas, and if you lose, just keep getting loans. Remember this. Just keep spinning, keep gambling, keep gambling. You can't lose. You literally can't lose. You can only quit.
Nobody knows about that fucking degenerate life when you're fucking down 40,000 and you battle the fuck back. You say, you know what? I'm a fucking strong, independent man. And you're not gonna tell me I should go to bed. I'm gonna battle the fuck back. And I'm gonna fucking get my money back. And guess what? I got my motherfucking money back. That's right.
Asset. Well, Bitcoin is the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
It is I, once again, here with Moongang. 181, get in or clock in? Oh, yeah, I think you're muted, Charlie. Classic intro here at DC Enterprises.
It's like, hey, I got to press that one button. But yeah, I was just saying, boom, baby, you know, like, if you just get into the market, get into the crypto mindset course, you know, all will be well this summer. You'll be having fantastic gains, no more tortas. You know, unless you want that, you know, and then everything's going to be a good time, right? So,
yeah.
And I heard, apparently, allegedly, Scottie Pippen likes goggles, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
Scottie Pippen, less goggles. I mean, Charles got the alpha with that, but I don't know. I'll let him.
We'll leave it to the groups for now.
Someone who always has the goggles.
Ooh, yeah.
They're always on, ladies and gentlemen. They're always on.
Well, I want to see, you know, whether, you know, Scottie Pippen had a dream with Andre Crone and Dracula Presley, and you know, what price have they been saying about goggles? I'm curious.
No, definitely. I guess let's start it off with, like, Charlie, these prices are down. Does it mean bears in?
Well, if you know, the best tweet that I saw on this actually this weekend was somebody was saying, like, bears, you know, like being boastful at like $75,000, then saying, you know, short it, you know, basically all the way up from 84 to 110. And then, you know, it drops from 110 to 107. And they say, oh my God, you know, bears win, you know, and it's like, what?
We have to look at, like, as we're in a kangaroo, we're in a bit of a kangaroo market until we finally get the breakthrough, right? And we hit the parabolic run, which happens every cycle.
Bitcoin conference this week is not a bad area to kind of, you know, it's like literally at the very end of the month, we get a lot of volatility going into a monthly close. It's selling may go away for Wall Street, but I actually think the stock market's going to start to get stronger too. So, like, we're in a very good, like, I would say, mixture of events.
Yeah, I'd say the catalyst that started the prices going down has just been the surprise tariffs on Europe. That's really it. But, like,
well, and that was very temporary too.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it just allowed you to buy more dip.
Yeah, because he extended it out to the 9th.
Am I frozen or are you frozen?
I'm not sure. We'll figure it out.
I can. Nope. Now I can hear you. I can't. There you go. Okay. I don't know if I was frozen or you were frozen.
It probably was me, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Might have to direct connect. I'm on the Wi-Fi. Might have to directly connect to this thing, but pretty much. That's right. And we'll go into that later on with the PSYOP. But basically,
basically, we got an extension out. It was going to be on the 1st of next month. It got extended out to the 9th, which was a little bit more, mostly off of the back of the request of the French president, which got smacked by his guy boyfriend or his
What was that?
Like
that was fucking weird. Yeah.
That whole relationship is weird. Like,
yeah. Well, then there's pictures of like, you know, if she's a dude, and then she's like, what do you call it? Like, there's pictures of like allegedly, you know, him as a child, and then her as a him, you know, as a, like a middle-aged adult or something, like something crazy like that. I'm just like, what the fuck?
I mean, Candace Owens probably has the best video on it because she actually did.
Oh, really?
She did an investigation on it, and she got contacted by like their French version of Secret Service and FBI, basically to try to take it down. And she went, "I'm an American citizen, so fuck you." But
Candace Owens actually, like, what do you call it? She's pretty legit. Like, she goes out here and, like, you know,
while pregnant, she did all that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, she just had the baby, but like she was pregnant during the whole debacle of it and stuff, and she thought it was fake too. And then she started interviewing. Like, I'm so here for the French slander, you guys. Common French hell, right? But then they started. They call it domestic violence in the United States. Yeah, they call it a lover's quarrel. It's in French land, but basically, she was doing the research and she thought it was fake, and she started interviewing some other like basically notable people, you know, notable like journalists inside of France, and they also just privately were telling her that we've been silenced as well. He's like, we thought it was also bullshit too, just trying to slander our president, and then we get the red notice to stop as well in France and get threatened. So it's a huge cover up, absolutely. Like, I mean, obviously we got to say allegedly, but like allegedly, pretty much everyone knows, like in the French media, that like something's, I mean, at the very least, it's a dude. He's married to a dude, which is like whatever, I guess. I mean, if you want to be married to a dude, but like the weirdness of it is it's very likely, allegedly, his uncle is estranged uncle or something like that.
That's even fucking more crazy.
Which disappeared. He disappeared 2-3 years before that, and then kind of came into life. And then if you actually, they have a lot of side-by-side pictures. They look pretty much the same. Like, it's pretty weird, dude. It's
what, speaking of random ass motherfucking shit, like I saw another tweet or whatever. Somebody was saying, like, you know, if you really look at the Brittany Griner for what was it, the Merchant of Death trade with Russia, right? If you really look at that trade, it makes, you know, the Luca trade to Los Angeles look so much less worse.
Yeah. so much less loss of life. Like, but you know, someone heard that news, the Luca trade, and I bet you anything, someone had a heart attack listening to the news. It happened. There's just statistically, someone died over that, like not intentionally, but just like, what?
probably somebody in Texas, yeah, because like, what do you call it? Yeah, it was a big deal in Texas.
Probably San Antonio, because they got the big old women down there in San Antonio.
Well, yeah, but they got the Spurs.
I know, that's the whole joke, dude. I love that whole shit with, like, you know, with those big old girls down there in San Antonio.
I haven't heard about the big old girls in San Antonio. Tell me about it.
No, you serious? Are you actually serious?
I mean, I heard of San Antonio, but like I didn't know there was fat girls in San Antonio.
No.
If I was looking at fat girls in anywhere in the Southwest, I would assume Albuquerque.
Okay. So it's this whole thing with Shaq. Shaq's always like, I mean, Shaq's on that panel show with like him and like these three other guys. Yeah. So the other guy, what's his name? Who's his name?
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley is the one doing the bit all the time about the fat girls, the big old fat girls in San Antonio. And like, he's like these big old bloomer chicks. Like it's so funny, fucking hilarious. There's like 30-minute like collaboration videos or like you know, mixed videos of just him shitting on San Antonio women. But pretty funny. But yeah, tornadoes and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But yeah, so basically they got extended out to the 9th, a little more date now.
And that's July 9th, right?
July 9th, yeah. So which
is one day after the 90-day window for, what do you call it, all the tariff stuff that came out in April.
Yes, for all the tariff stuff that came out in April, as well as I think a week after that we have the meeting of the working group as well. That happens because that was 180 days after like Trump announced it. I think like a second week of his presidency. He announced it, the working group. So we almost, we're past the first 100 days. Now we're in the, middle of July. End of July is basically the 180 mark, basically 6 months. And it's interesting. That's, I think, a ton of information is going to be dropped right there. July is going to be a huge month, and it's very likely that we're going to get our first cut in July, not June, but in July.
What's the date for that meeting?
The date for the meeting should be, I think, the 17th, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, July 30th. So it's at the end of the month.
Very, very end. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So, and then July 30th and stuff like that. Man, this month has traveled so fast. My God.
I know.
But after that, September 17th. After that, which would be like any later than the 17th, and I think the Federal Reserve's got problems because now the Federal Reserve is like openly doing like these panels and stuff defending, because they just recently had to fire about 10% of their staff across the entire Fed because of like remarks and basically government pressure, being like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" They can't really force them to, but they're kind of like putting like the Doge pressure a little bit on them, and they fired 10% of all their staff across the Fed, and they're now like essentially showing like the Fed should be autonomous. Like they're starting to have all these talks right now because I think they're getting a little freaked out because basically like this government's completely Republican controlled and they can pull power back from them if they got that to that level. And like Trump's also kind of repealed it back a little bit. No, we're going to leave him alone for now, but like because he probably got the knock from all the banks a little bit as well because it's J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, NY Mellon, and I think there's a couple other seat members that are a little more secret basically. But basically.
Well, what's really telling about the American people is I bet you if you were to have like the government, like especially the Republicans, because just anything the Republicans do is like, oh my God, it's crazy, right? Like if they were to start cracking down on the Federal Reserve, I bet you with the current state of America we have today, there'd be more people who'd be like, how dare you like do anything to the Fed? Like this is our bread and butter. You can't do like, I'm like, have you looked at history? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like it's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, most people are like so ill-informed. They're like, if there's anything bad that happens to government, it's bad because news tells us so. Like people just don't really think that shit through.
And honestly, like I already discount like 90. Look, we have a bot epidemic. If 4chan's now obviously I haven't been on 4chan in like years, as long as anybody else, right? Because I mean that shit got really lame. But 4chan, when it was temporarily shut down and people got to see the background of it, it was 90% federal agents from all countries. Like it was like 50% Israel. Not even joke. That's not even joking around.
Yeah,
50% of the moderators and posts were from people with that worked for the Israeli government. Mossad and shit. And then you have the French government, the American government, the Russian government. Like I think it was like 3 other governments before you hit the United States.
Oh wow.
Like PSYOP, of course. Like I mean, like it's not even PSYOP. It's like legitimately that was like there. So you got to imagine. Like I see a lot of comments, right? I think like there's pros and cons to like Twitter, right? It's nice to have an anonymous account. It really is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice if we did have a really popular like social media apparatus where you actually had to have a real social security and card to actually have an account.
Maybe like a blockchain social media.
Maybe possibly. But the problem is because it's not as free. It's harder to make it go viral in a way as well. But the thing is like if there was a real way, like, but then they try to push it towards that because. Basically, then you would. I think one of the reasons too they wouldn't push it because then you would really see what people really think now, and it's not that many people out. The average person is just like, dog. I just want to watch Avatar on TV. That's it. Or like I'm just trying to watch cartoons or watch TV or my soap dramas or the Kardashians, right? Or every and some people are mad about something, but like most of these bots, like I sometimes get like comments somewhere on Instagram or on Twitter. I look, the accounts are fake essentially. Or they're created within the last 2 years, or it's just a generic account with generic pictures, no comments underneath, a couple it's fake. So like most of the people we're arguing with like foreign agents and basically bots, effectively. Like
Yeah.
it's not real. Now there is always real like angry people, of course, but like you sometimes I think who has time to do all this? Nobody does, unless you get paid to do it, of course. Right?
Well, and also like the algorithms, right? They don't favor like organic stuff versus what do you call it, fabricated stuff, I guess you could say. So
Right.
like, I mean, for channels like ours and stuff, yeah, they don't really like a lot of the discussions we have. We do kind of what do you call it, mess around with copyright just for the memes, But like, yeah, a lot of the stuff that we do in crypto, like we have to push it extra hard through like Telegram, through Twitter, through other, Instagram, other stuff, and actually to get it seen. But like, yeah, man, like when I look at like sports media and just traditional media, but everybody going onto YouTube, like all these personalities and stuff, I'm like, we've talked about this, I think, privately before, right? Like if you look at a channel like Johnny Mitchell, The Connect, it's like really interesting stuff, great storyteller. You look at the first like 5 episodes on his channel, like that's intriguing, but like, where the fuck did this dude come from? All of a sudden he has 900,000 subs and then a few million, and then like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, like there's definitely that new media control going on.
Right. I mean, it is viral content in a way. I mean, it is cool to listen to all that stuff, but then at the same time, like you would get the knock on the door to shut up because like a lot of, especially his earlier content was like essentially showing you how to run, like how to be a middle manager, upper management,
but like technically with like old information, so it's not super illegal. Yeah, sounding.
Yeah, or like it's basically, hey, this is a great way to like. I mean, it's not that hard, and he made it like he romanticized it, which is it's funny to hear, right?
You're
like
selling pot for dummies.
Yeah, but like you too can be successful if you tried.
Just as long as you're willing to store stash at grandma's house, like
yeah.
Take your credit card when you need to buy the dip.
I mean, like social. I mean, like right now, like the big talk right now is like kind of with like Tim Dillon. He went on. I think he went on CNN, and effectively they were trying to blame like Kamala Harris losing because Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan podcast, and he was like, "No, how about you ran a really bad candidate, and
her being an idiot,
and then also all those podcasts that Joe that were offered to because there's actually some weird law where like basically." Every candidate has to have a fair shake. So if you interview one, you have to offer it to all of them, basically. So they chose not to do it.
Yeah.
Because because of course she would end up making herself look like a fucking idiot. Of course, that's why she didn't do it. And they were putting all kinds of stipulations on Joe, and then Joe decided not to do it. There's a ton of them. That's one of the reasons. But just because they went on those shows, that was not enough to just win them the election. Like that wasn't like, oh, without the Joe Rogan podcast for Trump, he never would have.
Well, it's the wild card that the other party ignored, right? Yeah. Like I forgot what the name of the podcast that Kamala went on. It was some female podcast, right? This lady goes really viral and stuff. And instead of Kamala going to like where her studio was and like just filming there, they recreated this lady's entire studio and had her come visit wherever Kamala was.
Oh yes,
and then like
yeah.
And this lady was just like, this is like, she's like doing it, of course, because they're paying her, right? Like, but she was just like, this is wild. Like, why would they? Like, because they had all this campaign money. I think they spent like $200,000 or $500,000 on like recreating her studio that probably cost like $5,000. Like, what the fuck?
I'd be like, can I keep this as a travel set for myself? Possibly.
And it's like, it just highlights the need for what Doge has done, right? It's like, yeah, like the government, I don't know, man. Like, if you ask anybody in the government about finance, the only person who knows anything is Nancy Pelosi. That's only because she got insider information, right? Like everything else, these people are just retarded when it comes to like anything to do with finance.
I mean, they thought, it was a good idea to pay, Beyonce, like the whole thing. There's another couple things, right? So they paid Beyonce to go on. Everyone thought Beyonce came on, hey, I like Kamala Harris. And everyone thought, even like so a bunch of people went to the thing, right? And then they thought she was going to sing there. She said hi, and then she left. and then literally everyone started booing, and then like more than like 80% of the people left the stadium because like Beyonce.
Because they were like expecting like a free performance or something.
Or something like that. Which I mean, if I was going to some political thing and they're like, and I really like the person, I probably would have done a song.
Yeah, right. Like if you legitimately like the person, but if you're getting paid, $1 million just to be like, yeah, thumbs up, and then just get the fuck off stage, like you're like, yeah, I'll take that money. All right, cool. It's the easiest 10 million I ever made. I'll get a new beach house.
Yeah, I mean, the least you can do is like all the single ladies.
Yeah, at least do something. Like do like 30 seconds of it or something, right?
Because all those chicks that went there by themselves were all single ladies, absolutely single lady cat ladies with Kamala.
Except for, I don't know. I saw some suspect shit like during the whole like campaign or something. I think there was like, I don't even want to know. Democrats in terms of like the party, what like their policies are supposed to stand for is one thing, but like the amount of like just random ass weird people that are in that following that party is crazy to me. And like I didn't even know this, but like I legitimately looked at it. I mean, the Minnesota state flag changed, and like somebody showed in one of our chats or whatever, like the difference between the Somali flag and the Minnesota flag now, and I'm like,
oh, I heard about that.
I was just like, what the fuck? Like that is some fucked up shit, bro. Like,
was that the video where like some woman was trying to sell her house?
No.
Dude, watch it. So there's this lady, I saw this on Instagram. This lady was trying to sell her house in Minnesota. She had a big American flag in the front yard. Nothing wrong with that. She had it's been months, 0 offers. No. So what our realtor told us to do is, how about you switch out the American flag and just put the Minnesota flag up? So she put the Minnesota flag up. Within 2 days, she had 4 offers on the house.
So
yeah. Anti-American people, and then and she said, "Yeah, I don't know if it's
and the Minnesota flag,
American flag, or it looks like the Somali flag. I don't know."
Yeah, I was shocked to learn that, like, because like I mean that's where I'm from, right, and everything, and like I know if you go down to like the heart of Minneapolis, oh my god, bro, you just get some crazies. But like if you go out,
you might have to run one day and just clear house, dog.
yeah. Jesse fucking did it, and it fucking worked, back in the day, but. The best thing is like Jesse Ventura was at like a city council meeting, and I think it was like Blaine or whatever. He was living in Minneapolis, right? The mayor, he's like basically telling the mayor like, "Hey, you're fucking up here. Do this, do that, whatever you need to do better." And the mayor just like shat on him. He was like, "I'm gonna run," and then he beat his ass, and then he made it all the way to governor. I was like, "This shit's fucking hilarious, bro." That was like when Minnesota was cool.
So an Obama-Trump moment, basically.
Well, I mean, he gave Schwarzenegger the playbook for how to become governor in California. Because he did it in Minnesota, right? And like, yeah. So I mean, like Minnesota's cool when it wants to be, but like, goddamn, bro, like, yeah. I don't know if Minneapolis has like changed some of the gerrymandering or whatever, in terms of voting, but like, yeah, you go outside of anywhere outside, like I think the statistic, I don't know if this is still accurate, but it was like 3 million people in Minneapolis, St. Paul metro, and then 2 million in the rest of the state. And you go like anywhere out of Minneapolis, and it's like pink to red, you know what I mean? But I would say most people in Minnesota are like except for like the very center of Minneapolis, like they're very moderate centrists, but like the crazies, man, like it's like the evangelicals in religion, right? You just get like one end of the spectrum just being all sorts of ape shit crazy, and then you get a Tim Walz somehow.
I don't know. I mean, I just think, when you I don't know what's up. I mean, because like every it just seems like every major city and every state is a little cuckoo. I mean, living in Vegas, obviously we know that, but like there's like
Nevada's different too, though.
Nevada is different. It's a traveler city, but like it.
Well,
but like,
and not only that, but it's also like it's a little bit more like New Hampshire and the live free and die kind of model. Because like,
right,
if you go to some of the pawn shops here and stuff, they do sell like Nevada dollars that are like gold laced dollars. I'm like, these things are fucking cool, right? And it's like, yeah, just in case the federal government goes down or something like that. But like that's like a very different mentality to a lot of other states.
No, definitely. But it's just I mean, basically, I think it's just a lot of people. Like it just seems like these areas, I mean, have been like seeded intentionally with like dem dollars to like cause craziness in like these these kind of metro areas in all these states have just been seeded, And it's kind of the big thing with like San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco is becoming Detroit effectively, which I've known forever.
Dude, that was
LA too a little bit, but LA's so big that it's having trouble. Like it's the fire helped a little bit, but like
I was hoping when I was overseas and I was seeing everything on Twitter and like stuff or whatever, I was like, there's no way San Francisco's turned that much into a shithole, right? I was just like, this has got to be some sort of like just media thing, right? And since I've come back to America, and I've heard, I've only been to San Francisco once since I came back, but like back in what do you call it? I would say like 2004, 2006, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
it was like my favorite city in America to travel to. Like it was beautiful, right? And like lots of good stuff about it. But now, like you literally can't even leave your car without like it's going to have like one of the windows broken in it practically. I'm like, that's fucking insane, man. Like the Mount California has gone into the gutter. Like Hollywood is like apparently now, I think like most people who have like, I don't know what you want to call them, but like, you know, those people who like assist in the production of a movie making and stuff. There's so many movies being made overseas now that like those people in the last like year and a half have only gotten like 3 months of work and shit like that.
Yeah, on average and shit. I mean, there's the main thing, like kind of what they're suffering from partly is the destruction of the VHS DVD market has hurt them a lot, and that's taken a lot of revenue away from like they used to. So
isn't it also like the crazy taxes and like policies of California?
Oh no, of course. But like the lack of work started like where like it started to like basically DVDs got phased out, so the internet, so people started streaming movies for free. There was a moment in time through Apple where people were buying movies through Apple and then online. But because, I mean, the internet's so free now, I mean, it's just like you're only paying for a movie because you want to, just because you want some extra stuff. But they've lost that revenue. So now, like, the studios are super afraid to make a movie unless it's like a big budget, sort of like safe movie to launch. So the average movie is like $80 million, $100 million. And, you know, Hollywood, the way a lot of great movies were created, were like it's 10, 15, $20 million budget movies. They basically lost the middle class of the movies effectively. Right. So you have low budget like horror that's never going to go away, and then you have like high budget stuff, Marvel stuff. You know, you have big budget movies.
No way.
Well, you know, Disney's got the bucks to. I went to Disney recently, and I totally see where they get the money to pay for bullshit. But
$200 million for the worst movie. No, I never even saw anything about it, but like the trolling on that movie was hilarious on Twitter.
Well, yeah, I mean, like basically, like you know, they didn't get the memo. I mean, they didn't get the memo. Like I think they just completely like basically like America. We're like, all right, cool. I think basically feminism has run its course a little bit on the large social side because. It's never, you know, not on like, oh, you know, abusing women's good or anything like that, right? But more on like
too much. Yeah,
you guys got everything already. Shut the fuck up. And then what's happening right now is that they're pushing to go further, and now it's going to go this way, and they're probably going to start losing rights. Or and then what's sad about that is that there's going to be some shit, and you know, it's some dumb girl that's going to be, you know, the victim of it, basically.
Is it repealed the 18th or 19th? I don't remember.
It's 19th.
Okay.
19th. I'm somewhere in the middle on that. I'm not sure which way to lean. I see both sides.
To be honest, that one I don't really give a shit about. The only thing that I think is actually like that'd be interesting is the one where they only let landowners vote. I was like, that's interesting. I'm just kind of curious, like. I'd like to go back in that history and be like, what was like the worst thing that turned out from that? Because the base assumption is that those people will be more educated, pay more attention, like have more investment in that stuff. So like that makes some sense, but like I could see how that could be abused like a motherfucker.
Well, where it got abused is like, so I think why they went away from it is because it worked pretty good during the 13 colonies, and then as they started expanding forward, people in the colonies, especially the original East Coast states, started getting pissed off because we're just giving all this free land, all these stupid yokels anyway. Fuck what the, you know. And then they said like, you might as well let everyone vote at this point because that way we might have some voting because there was. It was a way to kind of even shit out because basically all these people were getting votes anyway because everyone. But either way, it would have gone away because here's the problem is like it's very hard to figure it out because eventually, if everyone has a vote, if you own property, right, eventually all the property's bought up And that, so imagine right now, okay, let's switch over to, you have to have land to vote. You have one vote if you own land, but because land is so expensive, that means the average millennial doesn't have much of a vote. Neither, I mean, basically it would all be boomer and extra votes. Completely correct.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the sort of the problem. Now, if there's a land rush, right? If there's like, oh, we're expanding out to land, and the average person who just goes out to some other state gets land, or it's very cheap, you would that's what would happen. But like, or you go the other route, which is you don't get to vote unless you've served this country, right? And then mandatory military, which isn't always the most worst thing, but it can.
Yeah, but the military people like
are indoctrinated. They are.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yeah, like they're gonna get whatever education they get on that. But at the same time, also they're not. A lot of them they kind of detach after a while. So like they don't really. I mean, it's not that they. I should say that, but it's not a blanket statement, right? There's like. By the way, happy Memorial Day, right? But like,
Memorial Day. Yeah.
There's a lot of veterans.
They're called brainwashed, and yes,
they're just like it's a lot of bad shit. Like they just like don't want that information anymore. I'm like, I get that, but yeah, no. America's an interesting country. It's always kind of shifted, though,
Yeah.
And
because I get what Boogie's saying here, right? Make selective service voluntary. Only permit people that serve in the military or register to vote. But here's the problem: is that
they're not the most educated always, because they do the people that
they're not always the most educated. No,
the people they throw on the front lines are the kids that they pick up off the street.
Yeah, I mean it's who was the lowest rung of society? An 18-year-old boy. And I still call them boys. Like now that I'm in my 30s now, thinking back, I mean that whole shit about the frontal cortex is really real. Like, dude, you can maybe push it to 24, but like really it's 25, 26 for a dude, 24 for a girl when your frontal cortex gets fully developed and stuff. And that's why like the military wants you as young as possible, because they can mend you. And then here's the thing:
also you're fit.
If the only person, fitness, right? But if the only person, here's what will happen. I can tell you right now, because I know human nature so well. If they only allow military people to vote, right? This is what will happen. Very quickly, it will be very politicized inside the military. You'll start indoctrinating. So you'll be like, depending on who's your captain or who's the lead guy of the military base, or which star general is in control of which faction here, or if the main head honcho 4-star general of whatever army branch that you're in or admiral will start like, I'm a lefty, I'm a righty, and then
when we saw Comey with the FBI recently and stuff, all that bullshit. I'm just like, man, like the military at like a high level, like the general's level, is already politicized, because they're the puppet masters when it comes to a lot of the stuff going on. It's really interesting to see is like when a president comes in, especially a guy like Trump that's like not molded into politics, and like how a lot of the times they like fall into line on certain subjects of like policy and stuff. They're just like something when they're on the campaign trail, they're like, oh, this sucks and all this stuff, and like something to do with like military sometimes, and then as soon as they get in, they're like, oh yeah, those guys, I love those guys. They're my best friends. It's like, who pulled the gun out on that guy in the meeting?
Well, yeah, I mean, literally, like it's one of you need military support or you don't run a country. Period. I mean, that's just it's just ironclad. Like the most important during the Roman Republic, and during any Roman era, actually, the number one constant thing was them figuring out how to pay the fucking military on time. Because if not, they were in trouble.
They started turning on their ass.
They're march on Rome, and then eventually it became so crazy that it just became generals funding their own military effectively, and then they were like,
how did Alexander the Great come into power? Like I can't remember
his dad.
Oh yeah, he got secession, right?
Yeah, but his mom was like a big a big reason for that too. She hustled her way into position, and then like brought him up like, you're a god. You're like, your father wasn't Philip. He was Zeus or whatever the fuck they believed in at the time. Like you're like, that's Philip's not really your real father. Your real father is actually this god and stuff. You're a god. You're a demigod, and like
it fucking worked. I mean, whatever fucking what do you call it? Mind warping they did. Like, I mean, he was successful.
I mean, I think probably like honestly, probably like making the vote 26, unless you're in military service or a police officer or something like that. I think that makes sense because it's like, yeah, if you're fighting for the country, you should be able to vote early because you're voting for the country, you know, of course. But also like we're letting a bunch of retards at 18 vote, which like
but to be honest, like
it's not going to change much. But
I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, are the people at 26 any more informed? Like I've
a little bit more. I mean, maybe not as emotional at the time.
The majority of people that I do speak with about anything to do with politics, like people vote on emotion most of the time. Like they don't vote on logic, right? And so like I've met, 50-year-olds who, are about, less intelligent than an 18-year-old. You know what I mean? So like, it's like the pot you're pulling from is a mixed bunch.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Like rarely do the sons of high achievers, high status ever surpass their fathers. Yeah, but it does happen. But yeah, that's difficult. That's that whole thing of why, like,
well, that's why Trump's doing what he's doing, I think, with presidency, right? Because his dad had a lot of success.
Very successful father and stuff. And age is not being intelligence. But at the same time, too, it's more like you're more like this is truly like a person when he's a little older, he does at least think he believes what he's saying. Versus at 18, we could be swayed many different directions much more easily. Like, so I literally remember people like started voting just because like, oh, my friends are voting for this guy, so I'll just vote for him. That was literally, I mean, that was the math for most people.
And then that's the sad thing is like, that's the math for most normies their whole life. I mean, because the media told them, not their friend, right? Like, oh, ABC and NBC and CBS all told me, that this guy is the best thing since sliced bread or the worst thing since the devil.
Oh, shit. I got it now. How about we just say for people who actually pay taxes?
Yes.
Net payers.
I like, okay, that's more fair. Yeah, that's more fair. I like that one.
I was thinking about it. Okay, how can we make this fair? No, obviously we make an exception. Military, is the military one's got to be for you. Like you put, I love that skin in the game sort of thing. They put the skin in the game. Yeah. They get the vote, obviously, 100%. But if you actually net pay taxes, not that you receive money from the government, like you never paid anything and you receive money, but if you're actually net paying to the government, okay, then now it's still one vote.
And that would be, and like finally, taxes are worth something except for just bleeding you dry.
Right. I mean, that'd be so, because I always thought it'd be such a cool idea if like, now obviously like there's like, what is it? Like,
it's like the IRS just starts choosing all the presidents. No.
We have the power now. No. But what would be cool too is like, I mean, obviously like there's the tragedy of the commons, which is like, if you let everyone like, let's just say like, okay, let's just say I paid $1 million in taxes this year. Right. Okay. So Miguel, you got $1 million. You get to decide where your $1 million goes. People are fucking retarded, just like we are with voting, right? So most people like I want you have to like I'm gun ho. I want half the money to go into education, half the money to go into the military, and then you'll end up having like no money going to roads at all, or like Medicaid. It would rug the fuck out of Medicaid for the boomers. but
they're no.
But I think imagine if we could like 20% of the money you pay out to the government, you choose where it goes. Interesting. Now, obviously 80%, that's enough, or you can even make it 90%, right? But like you can put 80%, the government has to allocate. All right, fine. But this 20%, that would give just enough little power where like you start individual like extra money. That's really cool. I think that's a really great way.
And then they tokenize those votes. They add a stablecoin yield pool to it.
The blockchain, and we're the service provider for these.
Hey, it sounds like a good business to me.
Hey, we start selling carbon credits.
Because I mean, actually, blockchain voting though would be way more transparent.
Yeah, I mean. Of course, but they wouldn't want to do. I mean, they're fighting over like showing an ID, which is crazy. Like, of course, like I mean, you're fucking. I mean, everybody has not a driver's license. Are you actually a U.S. citizen? Do you have an ID? That's it. What's so hard about that? They don't want that because they want a bunch of not just illegals, but they just want to be able to basically make fake dead people to
Yeah,
vote.
it's a fucking dirty game.
It's filthy, dude. It's what blockchain would do it. I
It's
mean,
good.
I'd love to put it on Bitcoin because it'd be mutable, or Ethereum. Probably Ethereum would probably, because like we wouldn't Solana, dog. Fuck.
Yeah, Ethereum's gonna have the central bank digital currencies on it, so I know government's gonna choose that. Because yeah. But like, well, what was the question I was gonna ask? I was just gonna say like,
bring duels back.
Damn, yeah, I forgot it. I was gonna ask something good, but then spaced.
People would realize they can vote themselves.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It was just like, what do you call it? I don't know. I just like the idea of like making the votes into an economy and selling your vote.
Oh, you definitely could. I mean, like buymyvote.com. I mean, literally some tiny hat guy would in Silicon Valley would make it, and you're gonna do. And people were like, "Who wants my? I have $40,000 worth of votes here. Who wants to buy?"
Like, I paid so much in taxes the last 1 year. No.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care where my vote goes, but obviously though, like your votes aren't going to be like, no one's going to pay if your vote's 40,000, no one's going to pay for 40,000, but you might get like 20 cents on the dollar, so you might get like $4,000 back and have a nice weekend in Vegas. Hey, and then people would sell it. I could see trade votes for food stamps, lol. but that's why I said 80% have to be 80 or 90% have to be given to the government to basically distribute, because now it just because that's a little fair, but at the same time too, they're stealing the shit anyway. But like, because people would unequally put stuff here, and it's because like it just wouldn't make sense. But because like some people are like, I hate military, but like,
well, that's the thing. Like, when people look at blockchain and decentralization, and everything like that, the thing that always fucks shit up is humans. You can make the best laws, the best, constitution, the best code, the best software, whatever. Humans are going to find a way to corrupt it and fuck it up. Like,
right. Yeah.
In all aspects. So,
yeah, pro Bitcoin. It had to be done on Ethereum because Bitcoin's a little too slow to do it. And the future Ethereum upgrades, you'll be able to have it on, because you can't have it on Solana, you can't have it on Sui. You can't have it. I mean, like, Sonic hasn't proven itself just yet. Just like there hasn't been like this moment of like, oh, there's a giant hack and we have to roll the chain, but we can't.
I guarantee it would be on Ethereum.
Yeah, it'd have to be on Ethereum.
Governments and banks trust Ethereum, and then they built AVAX. Like.
Yeah, and Zenith, the Constitution only works if moral and just people, sort of. But then also that's why there is the threat of violence. Like all your rights are bullshit. Like women's rights, right? Women only have rights because men give them rights.
Right.
Largely, not entire. Not there's always exceptions. There's this badass warlord lady.
Hey,
like,
have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter shot putting, bro?
Dog, she'd have a harem, dog.
I think she actually is world record holder in some shot put shit. But
yeah, she's a beast, dude. She's awesome. That's literally like is 0% her like wife's genes, all Brock Lesnar genes. But yeah, you can't trust. Soul has been turned on and off too many times. They've done weird. So you just can't trust it. And who the fuck want to trust all their votes to XRP, man, dog? I mean, even though that'd be the next. I would hate to say it, but that's the other place people would say to put it. Basically, would be XRP. I can't think of anything else. I mean, that's about it, really.
Dogecoin. It's truly decentralized.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's true. But that's where it's really cool. So if you can put but it's crazy if you actually look at it. Like I think I pulled this up last year on I think we had the ex-CEO. I think the ex-CEO of Microsoft ended up doing the same. I'm doing this for the election, not to sway votes any other direction. I just want to just show all the data on how we spend money on the yearly budget in the most concise, fair way. I checked out the video on my channel and stuff. I'll try to find it right now, but basically, we spend half the budget just goes to boomers, effectively, for Medicaid and Medicare. That's really we spend so much, like 40% of the budget gets spent on fucking boomers.
The national budget?
Yes.
I thought most of it is spent on military.
Nope. Military is like, dog, it's not that big. You do once you see it, we're spending it all on Social Security. Medicaid
which
and Medicare,
nobody's fucking getting.
which no one's getting. Well, people are getting.
Well, I mean, the boomers are getting it, but then they're bleeding it dry. We're not going to get shit.
Yeah, it's but like most of it's essentially going out to give money out to like basically boomer. It's basically all going to boomers in their healthcare, and like a small portion of that is going to younger people. But it's like it's insane. It's like we spend like 4 or 5 times more on boomers than we do on people under the age of 40. That's how in mass. That's where all the money's going. Effectively,
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense though in terms of like how that got created, but like. Obviously, it's not a good way to grow the country.
No, it's not. And then that's also like I remember I said this on your. I think it was on your Friday show a couple weeks ago. I was on your show, and I said this. Anytime I see any Japan stuff, I always think of Charlie, right? But like they actually had shown like age per age, like the most actual like GDP producing. Young people group is Japanese. I would say 18-year-olds to 35-year-olds, effectively in that age range, are the highest ROI basic group of people in the entire planet. And so their economy, if it was just that, and it was like a normal like growth, like pyramid in terms of like population, their GDP would be fucking growing. They'd be growing at 5.5% a year. Massive for the economy. But because their pyramid's inverted, basically. The old people are dragging the economy so down that it's not growing at all, and they're suffering because of that. That's why there's all this the pressure to have children, the pressure to be like a working cog in the machine. You've talked about the golden cage for taxes. It's like you quit your job and the next year you get hit with a fucking massive tax bill. They're like, and so like it forces you to stay working because you're stuck. It's horrible, it's like, and we're all feeling it. Like every single person here is feeling it to some extent. Like we've all now entered the golden cage a little bit. I mean, to everybody, maybe not as bad as Japan, but everybody, especially if you're entering your 30s or you're in your mid to late 20s, you're starting to be like, how am I going to get a house? Fuck, it's really expensive. How am I going to afford this car or that, or I'm going to pay off my school loan?
And wages aren't keeping up with inflation and the cost of living, which yeah, that's the one thing I think each generation doesn't understand about the next one following it, right? The boomers are like, why are you millennials and Xers like all complaining? Like the Xers are kind of like, what do you call it? They gave up already anyway. But like, what do you call it? The millennials, they're like, why are you millennials like, not affording this shit, right? And it's like, because we got like fucked with the money, like the banking system and everything. And then you look at the Zoomers after us, bro, they got it worse. Like I'm just like, I see what those guys had to go through coming out of college. And I'm like, damn. Like I thought millennials had it bad coming out of the financial crisis of 08 and 09, right? It's like now when we say that, we sound like, back in 1908. But like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, and then Generation Alpha, like, I don't know if they might be in a worse financial situation.
We hopefully we're getting. I mean, they're going to be part of the whole AI. Like, they're going to benefit from it, but because basically the AI is going to start distorting jobs, and then the first economies to be able to actually convert the productivity back, like there's going to be a few people who get all the productivity gains from AI that are going to create massive wealth, and the best economy that's going to pull from it is the one that can distribute 60%. Because like, of course, there's going to be guys who are going to be massive winners, right? Like if you create all this productivity with like computers, right? What happened? We got the richest people on the planet. We got Bill Gates, and we got Zuckerberg, and this tech has created so much, like essentially has like stopped a lot of like people who worked in manual labor jobs or had all these weird, like back in the day, like there was an entire industry for transporting ice from Alaska and Canada in railway cars across all of America. This was a huge job, by the way. It was a huge industry. Some guy invented the refrigerator and the ice box, and industry gone. Cars got invented. The horse and buggy gone. I mean, of course, there's still horses, but essentially the entire industry is basically decimated. And beforehand too, before Standard Oil, I mean, Standard Oil kind of started originally by creating essentially just lighting fluid. I mean, basically they didn't really even create like it wasn't really crude oil in terms of like gasoline. It was really just creating heating lamp oil,
like kerosene.
Kerosene. There's another version of it too. It was almost like a diesel in a way, but like a red diesel. But yes, kerosene and diesel and stuff. And took us from like the dark ages, literally from like we were hunting. It was the whole whaling side. The whaling side got destroyed, and then now we went over to the kerosene, and then now that the whole world is essentially lit up now because of Standard Oil, then from there automobiles and electricity, boom, then everything got lit up around the world. Like before 1850, dog. I mean, everyone was in darkness, like literally darkness.
Oh no, absolutely. Like when I go back and look at like what do you call it, my family history and stuff like that, like people didn't really like start living in like really nice houses in general until until the boomers. Like boomers had like some of the best living standards in all of human history in terms of like in mass, right? Because like a lot of them were born in like, they're like not big houses. They're like those 1950s, box houses, but everybody could have one, have their own land and stuff like that. So like, when you look back at human history before that, both technology wise, but then also like either equity or just like standard of living wise, like we never had that. So like, like that is also interesting if you look at it from an evolutionary point of view of like kind of like where we are going into the digital age. Humanity is probably the most ill-equipped for new ways of like being like in terms of like competitiveness with their fellow man, because if you look at like all the times we've shifted in human history, going from nomads to farmers, going from farmers to specialized niches like merchants and stuff like that, right, all the way until where we're at today. Like, because we're going like from the industrial age to now, technology has gone at such a huge freaking clip. And like the last in our lifetime, I think probably like anybody who's alive now, like on the earth, has probably lived through like probably the most interesting time in human history.
Right.
Because like it's like we're creating fire with blockchain and AI and quantum, like three different, like we made the wheel, fire, and the printing press all in one century is like what's going to happen, and like I think most people are just going to be like, how the fuck do I keep up with this shit,
Yeah, and like obviously, so none of you guys are going to have weaponized AI. You're just not, because it needs a metric ton. Like we're just now, we're like United States under Trump. I mean, recently just decided this was going to happen under the Democrats anyway. Just FYI, they just allowed the creation of we're making nuclear reactors again. How did that happen? Right? Because we need tons of power. China is literally like, this is not even a joke. They're building a new coal plant every week. One new coal plant every week. Why? You need there's rolling. I didn't even know there was rolling blackouts all across Europe. I wonder why. When did this start? Like the rolling blackout stuff. Obviously, there's always been blackouts all over Europe, of course, because it's a damn near third world country. but there's been rolling blackouts there. Why? I think, sneaking suspicion, they've been working on AI and they need a lot of electricity, so they've been borrowing electricity from wherever they can. So they've been taking it from the central system, and it's been causing blackouts. Oh well. But it's happening to a lot of places here in the States as well. I think there's huge so they're building reactors right now. They're building coal plant, and now we have beautiful clean coal, Charlie. Clean coal, beautiful clean coal. Natural gas.
You've ever seen.
Quantum computing. Now we get the retard children of AI of apps, which is so incredible. Like you have ChatGPT, DeepSync. You have all these other ones, right? And it's going to be huge next cycle. Like this one thing, me and Charlie have been like researching a lot, and AI is going to be important this cycle, but not like in terms of buying a coin to make money, but in terms of the tech next cycle.
Right. And I would say like there's only two companies in all of crypto right now that have AI related stuff that's actually being used, and that's literally Render and ASI/Fetch. Like ASI and Fetch or whatever. The interesting thing is they are hitting a very, very unique niche in that they are building an AI, that's artificial superintelligence is what they're going for, right? But it's not a centralized system, it's a decentralized system. And then like, what do you call it? But there has to be, it's basically like centralized compared to most blockchain, but it's decentralized compared to like what most, you know, compute centers are going to do for AI, like ChatGPT and other things. So like, there's nothing else like it, which I think that's interesting. I'm like, I wonder, you know, how that's going to play out, like what that's going to do. But in terms of like the groundwork for the AI space, it's like you always get in the first round of any new narrative in crypto, you always get like 1, 2, or 3 coins that come out of that, and like they're the, you know, OGs, right?
Right.
And then the next cycle, you get this whole new batch, and like a few of those survive and do really well. And then like you get iterations each cycle, right? Until like now you have like a budding industry and all that. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. But like AI is such a difficult technology that like the amount of crypto projects that will actually have like useful AI stuff is going to be few and far between. But like bots paying each other through crypto on the internet, that's really interesting. I think that there's a lot with that in terms of the mixture of AI and crypto.
I mean, it's hard to use like perspective. Like it's like, well, I think boomers had the best time in history in humanity because fiat currencies were still young. Sure, in terms of I think they had the easiest run of it. Still, living life is never easy, but yeah, overall they had the easiest run. I mean, imagine
they didn't get drafted to Vietnam; they were Gucci.
Yeah, pretty much, right? An American one, yeah. I mean, but you could have been born in China, still had a great run, but you suffered a lot comparatively compared to your kids, right? But at the same time, too, we could have been born in the late 1800s, or I don't even know before. I mean, maybe like middle. We could have been child laborers. Very likely, you know, you would have been child laborers working in a coal mine or something. And literally, there's no child protection laws. You're just working. You're hoping. If you're lucky, you get like a second grade education. And as long as you didn't die of the black lung, you know, sure, you got to impregnate your 14-year-old missus, 16-year-old missus, get married, have kids, and you know, you got to settle on some free property and stuff like that. But you died pretty early, or you didn't live you lived a rough life, you know.
Hey, I'm just gonna be a chimney sweeper in my past life.
yeah, chimney sweep. No, but legit job, but it was like, damn, dog. I mean, like black lung up, you know. So it's the sort of thing where like when we say we had the toughest time in history, like no, we don't, dog.
No, dude, we have the best time. We have the best time in history.
It's just like it is. Yeah, could things have ended up better? Of course, but you have to try. The thing is like and I know you're not. I know this guy's not complaining here and stuff like that, but like because when you read a lot of this, it's like, man, boomers had it so easy and we've got it so rough, and it's like, well, we have like it's yes,
but also like the tools that we have with AI and stuff compared to like the budding personal computer with what they had and everything, like we have as our generation, we have no excuse but to outpace them in productivity. But what that's probably going to do is like there's going to be a smaller percentage of millennials who do that because of AI.
It's sort of like in the red pill, like looks maxing in a way where like the average guy's really fat. If you're in shape, or you know, like I think what was the percentage of males? If you're over 6 foot, make over $100,000 and not fat and married, you're like 0.004% of the population. Besides the height thing,
didn't Aaron Clary like start to like what do you call it? Didn't he help like code the cat litter thing?
Yes.
I forgot what the meme is with that, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the data, a lot of that started from Aaron Clary. He had this whole book of numbers, essentially, right? Where Aaron Clary, I don't think he gets enough credit. He was really one of the first guys to really pioneer how worthless most degrees were. Like early on, he was like 2013, 11.
The level of jadedness is fantastic.
I mean, only an Xer could be that ass.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally, assholeconsulting.com. I mean, it's shout out there.
A very Minnesota name, but yeah.
His new book is Zero World Problems. Is pretty good. Oh, I haven't read it. I got to read his new book. But
shout out Jack Napier. Jack Napier's in the chat. Looks like.
Yeah, Worthless is more than 10 years old. I mean that, and it's a classic thing too. Like we're now just starting to see in TradFi, like in like black TradFi and like the news, you know, like on the sports side, you're starting to see a lot of red pill takes that we've heard forever. They've basically been listening to red pill content. it's you're starting to have a lot of red pill takes are in the red pill that are starting to either because of Myron or because of the red pill overall. They're jacking the lightest version of it and saying it on TV, and it's like wow, I can't believe it's hilarious hearing it, but ahead of the curve, and then they get it, they bite it basically.
Yeah,
I mean, back to economics, I love that book. That was such a great book.
Yeah, the funniest thing with Cappy and crypto, right, was last cycle we were trying to, be like, hey, bro, like, let's get onto crypto. And he's like, I don't know about that shit, And like, I remember the first time, like, I talked to him on a podcast or whatever, I like look back and I'm like, what's some of his information online? I just scoured stuff or whatever. He had this one little interesting story where, he found some use in Minnesota for farmland that the old bankers didn't think was useful or whatever. And he took loans out on it and they wouldn't give him loans or whatever. And then he ended up making a bunch of money on it or something. He's like, see, as a young guy, I know what's going on kind of thing. And then when we showed him crypto, he was like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, bro, it's literally you 20, 30 years later. It's like, go back and listen to your young self kind of thing. Because, I think that's the interesting thing about keeping your ears open to young people's ideas as stuff goes forward is because that is where a lot of the innovation does happen.
Yeah, his books tell folks to join the One Bitcoin gang. That's recently, but yeah, definitely. He has changed his tune on crypto.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely for it. Yeah, he wasn't against it. He was willing to learn about it and stuff, and I think he's kind of absorbed it a little bit.
Yeah, but this is exactly they're softening the verbiage so females don't get mad on those shows and stuff. So they're starting to bleed this into the black women shows and the sports shows for guys, a little cruder, kind of like barbershop style, and then it's now starting to very lightly go into not The View, but those kind of white lady shows, but in the most
Dr. Phil.
It's starting to bleed in. You know why? Because there is an age aspect to this stuff, right? Yeah. Look, I was born in 91. Millennials is 1980 to 96. I saw this chick. The only reason I even thought of this is because I was at Disneyland and there's this chick fucking making out with this dude. And I was stuck in line. I was in the lightning pass line, but we're still stuck in line. And this chick was making out with this dude nonstop for fucking 25 fucking minutes. I was me with a bunch of little nephews, and we're like, dog, enough. All right, we get enough. None of us said anything. We were just like, Jesus, dude. But the chick had a tattoo on the back of her arm because we're just fucking there's nowhere we can go. We're trapped. Tower of Terror or whatever. And then she said 1999. I was like, how old is this bitch? I started doing math. I was like, she's 26 years old. I was like, damn, 1999 is 26 years old. I was like, wow. That means, and then I was thinking so 96 would be, 29. So it's the whole millennial generation is basically the girls are almost a good portion of them have hit menopause or entering menopause. And then the rest of them are on the danger zone of not having children.
Oh yeah, they've all hit the wall.
They've all hit the wall. Not all of them, but almost all now.
Oh yeah, I've given up on millennial girls.
Yes.
No.
But it just cracked me up, and I was like, I started thinking this chick's got 1999 tattooed on her arm, and then I started thinking she's so proud of being from not 2000. She got that on her arm. But it cracked me up, and I was just thinking wow. This bitch is 26 years old or whatever.
The best thing I've heard from young people or whatever, these days, the best shade that they can throw at older people is oh wow, you were born last century. I'm like, okay, that's a chef's kiss troll right there.
Yeah, the youngest millennial is 30 years old or about to turn 30, basically, which is, if you know anything, by 30. Different sources, but 90 to 80% of your eggs as a female are gone. You can still have kids, don't worry, but fuck, it's hard if the factory never started.
Yeah, you gotta make sure it's this. It's hitting the what's that? The Star Destroyer, right? It's you gotta be more precise.
Yeah, so there's the whole Gen Z thing, right? So there's the whole Gen Z thing, which is 97 to 2000. What are they? 2010?
That one I don't know where the cutoff is. I have.
It has to be probably 2010, right? So like they're like, and then that I said this a lot. I said this on the I think we did a mega show with like it was me, you, Rolo, Fresh and Fit. Like we had everybody on the panel, right?
Oh, the Avengers stream.
The Avengers stream. I think I said on the Avengers stream, I said that what's happening now is effectively why Zoomers I can't because they're young. They don't understand what's going on. We're starting to understand what's going on, but we're now in our 30s now or entering our 30s. Is that basically all the successful millennial guys who are on the younger side from like not closer like in their 30s but not 40s are just fucking all the top fucking Zoomer chicks effectively because
all
that's
the
what's
Zoomer,
available. And then the Zoomer
chicks complain about they complain out about all the Zoomer guys, so it's like, hey, it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, but if you think I said this really early on because at the time, right, the old like this was like what, 3.5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, right, when we did the stream. Like that means the youngest millennial was like 25 to 26 years old at the time. Now he's like 29 to 30. That like I remember saying that and people were like, "Oh yeah," but now like it's come true now. It's absolutely because think about it. Like if you let's just say like as an example, right? Like I don't know, like one of us like, hey, fuck, we get into a relationship. You're gonna at the very least date some chick that's 24, 25 or 20. That's a Zoomer chick.
Hey, like Leonardo DiCaprio strategy, right? Like, hey,
intergenerational. He must have smashed like 3 generations by now, right?
It's like you mix Leo with Matthew McConaughey, and it's like, oh, what do you call it? What's the line that he has from Dazed and Confused? It's like,
yeah.
Anyways, I'm not good.
Tate's a millennial, and his girls are Zoomers, and he'll be probably fucking like. Before he maybe chills off at some point, he'll probably end up fucking like maybe a super the oldest like generation alpha possibly before he's like tapped out at that point, or maybe or because it's what Zoomer then alpha, right? Yeah, generation alpha. Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah. Because it's insane when you think about it. Like, you're like, all right, that's right. But then that's also why the Zoomers are more doomer, and then on top, more doomer about it because they have competition anxiety because the top bitches are not fucking them basically. Now, obviously, if you're a top Zoomer dude, you're going to be fucking Zoomer bitches no matter what, right? Mm-hmm. But like the average Zoomer guy and young and like and lower on the SMV spectrum is like totally cucked out to like an infinite degree. Because especially now, as things get tougher economically, economics come more into play. So, and then older guys have more money. It's just the truth, or at least more money comparatively. So it's making. This is also another reason why we're also getting we could probably see an increase in violence a little bit as well. Because
absolutely.
Because the higher the competition is, and the more violence goes.
Have you seen the fucking Kentucky Crypto King?
No. What is it?
Oh, bro, you haven't heard about the Kentucky Crypto King? He, what do you call it? He kidnapped some guy in a $75,000 per month apartment / house in New York City. Is an Italian guy, and because he didn't like hold up his end of a deal or something or whatever, for like a month they were torturing this guy to like give him his Bitcoin seed phrases, and like. The last like couple of days where they said like, yeah, if you don't give us your keys or whatever, we're gonna kill you. And then the guy like ran out on the street, and like got a cop, and like, bro, like recently there has been like more wrench gang stuff when it comes to like crypto people, and that's when you look at the story of the Citadel, which I know is ridiculous. Obviously, it's a meme, but that's the truth, right? Like as society like goes towards like less trust the government. More and like there's more haves and have-nots. It's kind of like what you had in the 30s where you get more like gang mentality type warfare, but then organized crime and stuff like that. But then also you do get it's kind of like rich people in medieval times, right? What's the only way to like protect your wealth? Like literally with swords, right? And hiring the muscles. So like that's kind of like what you're kind of seeing like. It's the
beginning of the Citadels. Yeah, it's almost like we have a place that's called the Citadel. Almost right. I mean, we were kind of talking about strategies of keeping yourself private strategies and stuff, which we're going to talk to guys. Depending on how the market ends up going and stuff in terms of time wise, we might end up doing like maybe a 1-day event because we already did the Crypto Mindset meetup earlier in the year. We might do like a 1 day or a day and a half event later in the year, possibly. and
Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
about it and stuff. So obviously it's strictly education.
One day of strict degeneracy where we're going all in on meme coins.
But the Citadel, you guys, for $98 a month, you can join the Fortune of Solitude, the Fortune of Protection, the Fortress of Fortune. You know
what? We're like. Anyways, I'm not gonna like. I was trying to think of a quote from Dumb and Dumber, but like,
Dumb and Dumber.
well, like it was like it's like Aspen, where the wine flow, like the rivers flow like wine, and like the air.
Oh yeah.
Or something. I don't remember what the line is, but yeah.
We'll just borrow a couple of dollars from the suitcase, Charlie. You know, we'll write down all our expenses.
I owe you. It's as good as $1.
But join the 600 plus members, you guys. For every month that you're in the Citadel, you get $50 off the next crypto mindset course, which is coming out June 6th. You guys, we're getting close. You guys, we are getting close. Yeah, you can super chat.
Market's about to get freaking good, and like everybody's like, "Oh, when's my coin gonna pump? When's this going?" I'm like, just you wait. Like this next 1 month is gonna be really interesting.
No, it's exactly gonna be really interesting. You know, we're gonna have some really cool. We're having a lot of webinars planned out for the next few weeks and stuff for the guys in the Citadel. Same thing with the guys in the current crypto mindset course. Definitely join up. But if for some reason you can't get into the next crypto mindset course, get in the Citadel. We don't abandon you and leave you in the cold in the Citadel, which is really good. But we're
we
gonna
might even give you some Scotty Pippen.
I mean, we're going to be gone for most of June, like outside of like the sales window of June, most of June and a good portion of July, we're going to be off of YouTube, you guys, completely. And let me tell you this, when things starts cooking up, and you might, if you don't really want to mess things up over the next summer, man, I don't know if you want to like a cold boy summer, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want a hot boy summer, you want to do altcoin summer, you need to join the crypto mindset course and the Citadel, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really need help. I'm going to join the Citadel, man. Get in, dog. Get in. Also, if you have a problem, or anything like that, you send an email to support@cultivatecrypto.com. We have many Puerto Rican employees that help us out. They'll help you guys out and stuff. Because I recently had somebody that has changed their email. He's still paying for the product and stuff, but he needs to re-access stuff because you change his email and stuff. So make sure you start your account with an email you are actually going to use, not just a burner, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a sign. My course is open on my birthday. Dog.
There you go.
If there's a sign, that's a sign, dog. It's definitely a sign. But yeah, man. But yeah, it's protection and stuff and this is why also, like unless you're going to be doing YouTube or something like that, you should keep yourself private about this stuff. We tell people all the time in the course, and we're going to do it again. Every course we have these kind of we have an intro webinar. In the intro webinar, we give practical because this is like during the intro, the first webinar we do, peak viewership, right? I mean, in terms of live viewers, we give tons of really great advice of like how to keep yourself safe and also headache free. The time where you scream at your mom and dad to get into crypto it's right now for a little bit, but 6 months from now is a terrible time to tell your mom and dad.
Usually when people feel the need to do that is like when they should be taking profits. Yeah.
Correct. Like if you are planning to be a social media influencer and stuff, you have to, in this day and age, it's very difficult to get a following without showing your face. In crypto or in anywhere, actually, it's really difficult unless you just make very insane, very pre-recorded, very insane informational videos. It'll be very difficult to get a following, right? I can only think of one person in crypto that did it, basically, that with like no face, and then eventually he showed his face, basically later on. I think the Intelligent Investor he's like a Bitcoin-ish like crypto. Yeah. He never showed his face. Once he got like a pretty massive following, I think he was Hindu Indian or something like that. I'm not sure what he was, but he's some sort of Asian. But then eventually he showed his face. Once he had hundreds of thousands of subscribers and stuff like that. Of course, no one cared, right? But that's what kind of happened.
It's like when I saw Rey Mysterio Jr. take off his mask for the first time.
Homath. Did Homath show his face? I wasn't sure. But some people are afraid to show their things until like they're like, well, if I show my face, people won't subscribe to me. So I only show my face once I have a certain amount of followers, because then they can't back out that point. They're in bed with me. They think that. I know they think that.
You have a face for radio.
Thanks.
I mean, not yet.
But that's what it is, you know. I got super chatted and I got rugged. I don't know how. I mean, that's probably your end, brother.
Well, there's 2 super chats that we haven't looked at. That's what he's meaning.
Yeah, we'll go over these, but yeah, super chats do work, so it's probably on your.
Yeah, no, he was just like the fact that we haven't read it yet. So.
Oh, is that what he meant? Oh, dog.
Yeah, just bring it to your attention, I think.
Yeah. But the same thing too. Like, I mean, like Albrecht, like Somi is much more popular because he shows his face. It's the truth, right? Ask everybody. Now it's because part of it, it's like, okay, I know this deep down in your subconscious, you're like, I see his face, so this guy won't do nothing truly evil, because at the very least, you know, he is showing his face and stuff. So there is some repercussions if he's doing dumb stuff.
Which we've seen in the Pulse Chain community. We've seen that in the Pulse Chain community a few times.
No, but it does go bad for them, because eventually, you know, you're burning. You know, like, all right, this guy's showing the face, so at the very least, you know, you can see who this person is. You make fun of them for how they look and this, but like they're like skinning the game, and also they're getting rid of their anonymity, which is very important, because it's, you know, most people can talk shit behind a keyboard, but they won't do it face to face or on camera because it looks stupid, basically, right? The Pulsatina one, you guys should have known, dog. I mean, come on, bro. So I've warned you about these crypto chicks. I don't gotta say it, but
man. And like the fact that she was like a 4, you know, like.
But it's no. So going back to like the whole, like, you know how I said like, oh, the millennial guys are picking up this. I don't mean like, if I had time to explain this during like the you know the Avengers stream, I didn't really have the chance and stuff, because, you know, there's tons of personalities in there. But what I meant on there is, the average guy, even if successful, he's probably going to end up picking up some chick that's an 8 to like a 4 from the Zoomer side, where the chicks are 8, 9, 10s are only going for the top guys. And then also a lot of those chicks won't fuck with anybody unless they're a 10. Like an 8.5 chick who's making money on OnlyFans is not going to fuck with some guy who's even a 9 as a millennial dude, just because I can get a guy my age and maybe be famous. And then she's playing the cock carousel, which is going to fuck her at the end, basically, to her detriment.
Literally,
right?
and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively, right? And then what about the girls an 8 or a 7? Well, a lot of them aren't really making, if you actually look at statistics, they're really, even though they're pretty, unless they're very good at marketing, which is another level of intelligence and marketing and business acumen, they're not making much money. The average girl is making like $500 or less on OnlyFans. And
isn't it like some pimp game that like people are playing with, like, oh, you know, these OnlyFans girls are making so much money, they're becoming multimillionaires, and it's like, maybe I heard some people with theories of like money laundering, where it's like a lot of rich people put it behind a few of these OnlyFans girls for money laundering, and then like, what do you call it? It makes it look like they're popular, and then like it's like a psyop or whatever. I'm like,
the total parts. I've even heard of dudes having deals with the chicks where they have to like spend money on some stuff like that, and they get kickback of the money outside. The girls get to keep some of it, but like they're like, there's this whole workaround. But you're absolutely right. Like fake number. I mean, it's true. Like people see a big following. Well, I'll give this guy a chance. Like you could put, like, let's just say Coin Bureau. You could put a Coin Bureau at like 100 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers and 1 million. You're gonna be like, that dude with the million might be on something.
Yep,
it's the truth. You know, Midwest 7's better than Miami 10 any day for girlfriend material. Yeah, of course. But
well, that's so funny is all the Midwest 7s go to Miami's to be 10s.
Yeah,
that's the funny shit. Every time we go on like a yacht in Miami, there's like a handful of Midwest girls, and I'm like, where are you from? Wisconsin
or this or that. Yeah, yeah. And then too, they also transform as well. Like some of them like increase their S&V, you know, because they're through surgeries or just looking. Because also, like, you know, if you're from different parts of the country, different culture, you also are a lot more conservative how you dress. Then you go out to Brickell for a week, not even a week, 2 days. Just walk the streets a little bit. You start seeing the sexual competition between women. It's insane. Even look at the worker chicks. So I mean, obviously don't do that. don't like publicize this, but like take pictures of the average chick at like a couple coffee shops in your local town or area. Then go to Brickell. Take pictures of like these. Look at the same pictures, and you'll start seeing like, wow, there's like it's like a massive curve difference.
It's always hilarious whenever we land in Miami and we're like driving to like the hotel or whatever. Just like you're looking on the street and you're just like, that's not a bad town.
Start sucking chicks, Miguel. Yeah, no, for research purposes. No, but you can just, I mean, you just or take mental notes of it. Just like, oh wow, you start seeing the it's sort of just it's mostly because like the average every like most chicks that are not face are not that ugly, not all of them, right? It's usually just because they're more in shape, is really what it is, and also there is a youth component to it as well.
They're all wearing Lululemon,
Lululemon and working out. And the big thing is working out. Like the average chick is just not working out. Even if they were just bullshit working out 3 days a week, it would still end up being pretty, S&V positive, basically, for themselves.
Yeah, Jack, you haven't been. You got to come to Miami.
You got to come to Miami, dog. I've been trying to get you out of the Netherlands, dog. Come on, you be slaying cooch out here, dog.
I'd like to see Jack Napier out. Yeah, that'd be good.
He wouldn't have a Blastoise. He would have Squirtle.
Jesus.
Oh shit. This being thing, dude, and actually they're actually cracking down on max. I just recently heard about this. They're cracking down on looks maxing channels right now on Instagram right now and on TikTok.
Okay.
Basically, there's like the Chinese side. The Chinese side started cracking down on the TikTok and their version of TikTok, basically because you started getting too many. Like they cracked down on wealth channels, people showing off wealth, and then people basically looks maxing too much or trying to like be playboys,
right?
And then Instagram is starting to crack down a little bit on those channels right now too. I'm not sure about YouTube, but that's what I've been hearing. They're basically doing it because there is an epidemic. So they're also cutting down. I don't know about on the China side they're cutting down on bodybuilding videos as well. Actually, out there because it's causing body dysmorphia with guys, and it's true. It's true. Like if you actually get into like lifting weights, you get body. Like I have body dysmorphia. Any guy who's worked out has like lifted weights. You have a little bit of body dysmorphia, which is like you don't know how jacked you are or how
you can't live in modern society without that. It's like especially I mean like women have had that like at a high extreme level for a very long time, right? And it's like it's just flipped into the guy side a lot more than what it ever has before.
Yeah, and they're pushing, and then on Instagram they're trying to crack. They're starting to, and actually no, they haven't done it just yet, but I know they're going to. They're going to start cracking down on the steroid side a little bit. Like Instagram is like insanity with roids now. It's because it's just because people don't understand. Like even me, I see a guy with a really good physique, right? And you're like, oh, he's kind of small, but you don't understand how much of a percentage of the population has that physique. Fucking nobody. Right. Like nobody. Like it's like you go to the gym. How many guys, unless you go to a really hardcore gym, how many guys do you see benching 315 or 405? Almost nobody. Like you go to a gym and you're benching 2 plates, you're already like one of the top guys in there. That's kind of sad, but it's true. But why is that sad? That's actually pretty impressive that you're benching like 225 pounds, right? But let's take it a step further. How many guys?
And also like what do you call it? There's some guys in that scene which are trying to like have like no freaking neck, their shoulders go
crap lords and shit. Yeah.
So like it's an extreme.
Yeah, and then the red pill in this they're consistently cracking down on men's gaining advantage for sexual strategy. Exactly. But the portion of that too is also it's starting to cause male depression. You ever see it? The black pill is male depression. That's what it is.
Dude, the black pill people, I'm just like, bro, really? Like I always like, I don't wonder, like I can understand maybe how somebody would end up like that or whatever, but like, I don't know. Like I've heard a couple of those streams way back in the day and stuff, and I'm just like, people are like freaking crazy.
Yeah, like less than 10%. No, it's even less than that. You don't understand. Like if we're talking about the whole population, you're also including grandmas, grandpas, your mom, your dad. Like the amount of guys. The amount of people that can bench over 220. You know how rare it is for a girl to bench 225? I mean, it is like a fraction of a percent of I remember seeing a girl bench 225. I was like, wow. She was like a competitive power lifter chick.
How much did she weigh? I'm kind of curious.
Probably like 160, 155.
I mean, that's impressive. Like if you weigh
it's impressive. It's impressive.
And you're benching 250 or 225 or whatever.
It's incredible. For when you see a girl doing that, it's any person in the gym that knows like a girl's benching 225. Wow, that's
like
way
over her own weight.
An elite girl, you know, and then all the guys give her respect and stuff, and because that's insanity. Because most girls they're working out for like years just to bench 135, and that's like wow, and then 135 is basically yeah. What's he got? I knew a guy with Norwood one that started taking finasteride at 15 because he was there's also this whole side too because of the looks maxing. Guys are like losing their mind over losing their hair because people know like it's true if you lose your hair you're uglier comparatively.
Time to go to Air Turkey.
Huh?
Air Turkey.
Oh, Air Turkey. Well, sir. Crypto solves all, you guys. Crypto solves all. Would you ever date a bodybuilder type chick? To a certain extent.
If she was like just like if there's like a gym girl that's like fit, you know, like defined to some extent, like sure.
Like defined flat stomach, not 6-pack stomach.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And like, you know, you could have a defined back or whatever. Like that's like not the worst thing in the world, right? But like, yeah, like there was one time where I was like in the resorts world walking through the casino. And like it was like one of those, you know, Miss Universe / Mr. Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those chicks walking through there was like watching China from WWE back in the day. I'm just like, damn, that's a huge bitch. You know, like
what gets them though is like it's basically any girl that's a professional bodybuilder, effective. I mean, it's not like even at I think bikini is the like the least like crazy. Like there's like as an example, there's like classic bodybuilding, which is like they're trying to recreate like Arnold Schwarzenegger's kind of look, like kind of like that, right?
Then they're ridiculous,
which is pretty crazy, yeah, but it was still incredible, right? Then there's men's open bodybuilding, which is like the fuck, they're 325 pounds off season, they cut down to 275, fucking muscles, right? Then there's the woman's side. There's open bodybuilding for women. Then there's kind of classic, and then it goes bikini. Or bikini is like the super light version. All those chicks are also taking steroids, but they're like, but even in the lightest division, it's so competitive that they're all taking Anavar. Which if you took Anavar, Charlie, right, you would just get more muscle and you lose more weight, which is cool, right? But if a girl takes it, it's kind of like, here's the fucked up shit. It's like it's like taking a Skittle. You take that Skittle for like 6 months, nothing but benefits, effectively. 2 years out, your voice starts getting a little deep. Not badly, slightly. It's addictive because the steroids are the worst thing. It's just so sad. It's just basically girls can't use them effectively. They can't like you can basically a girl could use roids for like 2 years and then stop, and then she kind of could maybe get away with it. But who the fuck's gonna do it for 2 years and stop? Because you get addicted. Because it's like, damn bitch, you're the sexiest.
You get used to it, yeah.
Because every chick, and every guy is like, wow, you look incredible. Because like you literally could like eat more and your stomach's flat as fuck and you got muscle, and then bam, you go down. This is why we have trend, but trend increases DHA. So like. Trends even work. Like the reason that women use Anavar is because Anavar is the least. It's the oral steroid that gives you the least amount of like male qualities. Basically, you'll grow the least amount of facial hair, deep voice, body odor, and everything else and stuff. It's basically you build more muscle on it, but it has the least amount of side effects. But it still has side effects, basically. Lots of people do steroids and look natural. Yeah, I know too. Well, TRT. If you take TRT, it's only supposed to make you look natural. Like that's what people don't understand. That's how we're still fucked with steroids. Is like if you're on if me and Charlie got on TRT, right? You're supposed you would have the TRT of some guy that's 23 or 22. You'd have like 600 or not 600 is probably a little decent, but like you'd have 900 per nanoliter fucking testosterone. That's it. Like you're not jumping to fucking like 3,000, like that's like super physiological and shit, right? But people are just shocked. People don't. It's so crazy. Like being in Vegas, you meet all these bodybuilders. You talk to those people. We met people who've been in the Olympia stage and shit here in Vegas, and Yeah, you like people have to take way more than you think they do, but at the same time too, like there's genetics for steroids too. Like just like there's genetic elite guys, like there's like, oh, this guy, he's been in shape since fucking kindergarten, right? That guy just had great genetics. That guy gets on steroids, he's going to destroy you if you take steroids. There's no competition. He already laps you already. He's going to lap you more. Like it's or at the very least, you have to take 3 times more than him, and he has to take a small amount. It's rest in peace to Red Pill Thor. Red Pill Thor talked to us about it. Like he was a big guy in the Red Pill community talking about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And and it did open my eyes to like how like it's just the thing is everyone's genetics is just so different, but yeah, when you get older, your test just goes to shit. It's true. And then too, if you're sitting down all day, you're inside, you're not outside, you're not, you don't physical labor job. Your steps go from like, oh, I used to walk like 8,000 a day to like I'm walking 2,000, mostly from here into the fridge. But there's
hard life.
It took a long time for the internet to accept there's steroid genetics. There's guys who just don't look anything great. They hop on a little roids and they fucking get massive because they're hyper responders to steroids, mostly because they have a lot of androgen receptors. And these guys naturally have low test. There's like a ton of guys who have like very low test levels, and they hop on roids and it gets them to normal or higher, and they fucking just like explode because their body never produced that much, but they have all the androgen receptors they need, and they just fucking get insane and stuff.
Interesting.
But you still have to work, and you still have to work out, and you have to eat good, which is gay. Like that's the gay shit. As soon as I heard that, I wasn't that interested anymore. But like,
there's always a trade-off.
There's always a trade-off. But sure you can eat more. Obviously you can cheat. If you're on roids, you can cheat more. Like that's one of the main reasons I even thought about like basically these like. When you see a guy that's all six-packed out, like natural, his dick doesn't work. Really, if he's really like leaned out, when you're like, damn, that dude.
If he's taking stuff, you mean though?
No. If he was natural, you can naturally get really lean to the point where like you're really six.
No, yeah. But there's like some people who are naturally like that, some people who aren't.
Yeah, natural. Yeah, but not the really cut version. Like you can have your abs showing, but then there's the next level, which is that really like that like abs. Yeah, you're like look incredible, but that crashes your endocrine system, and then most people they can't really get hard-ons anymore. They're just like
that's a bad trade-off.
Yeah. So what happens is because I knew I had some buddies that actually did this shit. So like talk to you, Puto. Like he would just get in super good shape, right? And then he would just basically kind of take roids at the end of his fucking cycle. Or he would just cut down naturally, and then he would start taking at the end there, so he could go party and look great, so he could fuck all these bitches. Like, which is the plan for him. But it worked. Because basically, when he was on that, he could maintain not working out and drinking. And then he would like once he would get off of it, he would still be in shape, but he would be, he'd lose. He'd only have 2 abs, and he would kind of like you gain tons of water weight drinking and shit. But like,
yeah, of course.
But if that's the plan is you want to go to EDC fucking like 6-packed out, that's the plan. That's
and spend $100 on a bottle of Tito's. Or 150, I should say.
There's this really huge dude at my gym who's clearly on roids, but his shoes smell really bad. He just doesn't wash his feet, dog. Foot health is just something different, dude. That's just him being sweaty all day and not putting socks on and like.
Tough acting to acting,
Yeah. Also, too, like I've gotten guilty of this myself. Is like you end up having shoes just for the gym, and if you just use this, like I know guys are lazy as fuck. If your shoes aren't completely falling apart, you'll wear the same shoes to the gym for 2 fucking years straight. It's just like if you have boxing gloves and you always put them in your gym bag, your boxing gloves smell like shit after fucking a couple months, dog. All that sweat and stuff. Why are you sniffing shoes, bro?
The goggles stay on.
Yeah. But S has gone down quite a nice little chunk and shit, but that's most.
Yeah, what's it saying? Like 45 cents or something?
Yeah, it's still the shakeout. They're still
it's slowly going down though. It's like it's just waiting for Bitcoin to break out, I think.
Yeah, look, no one should be surprised right now. Look, we had a nice little run up from like you said, $74,000, $77,000 Bitcoin to 111K Bitcoin. That was a very good run. We had
about a 30% gain.
30% gain. We had a nice little alt run. We had a lot of meme coin runs and stuff like that. Even Nobody's still holding up pretty decently. It's only off like 20 million off its market cap, so it's off 33% from the market cap. Same as
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. So we had a nice little run.
Toby has no dip and knows no dip. You know, it just goes up.
Where's it at right now?
Where is it at? Here, let me pull it up for a second. I think like it's probably around $1 million. Yeah, it's 1.3 million market cap, but like
from where it was, that's incredible.
Well, about two weeks ago in the Citadel at like about 325 million market cap, or sorry, 325,000 market cap. That's where we called it. It's coming back or whatever. So yeah, it's done about a 3 or 4x since then. So not too bad in 2 weeks.
I mean, look at this. This is one that I gave everybody. Nobody's
been great. Yeah.
4 million market cap. Everyone got in. It's at a 10x right now. After it dropped down, it went up to here. It went up to here. And I told everyone in the chat, hey, I took some profits, you guys. Where did I take profits at?
Support. No.
Well, actually, before, I think it came down to the same level. I was like, oh, I missed it, and it went back up, and I took profits there again.
Yeah.
Because I missed it and stuff, and I was like, oh, it came back, and then I took some profits. This is why. Now, if it goes any lower, I have money to rebuy back in and build my bag up, because I think this does have legs, personally and stuff, right? But if we look at Toby, right? Sorry. God damn. I'm feeling better though. I can
tell you sound better than last week. Last week,
I can't believe how sick I was on the last show, dude. I was listening back to the footage. I was like, oh my god, dude. But yeah, this is done extremely well. And look at this. This is still beautiful now. It's come down. Obviously, it peaked up here about almost at 15% of a penny. It's come back down here, 11% of a penny. Now it's 13% of a penny. 1.3. This is still micro cap meme. Even Nobody's a micro cap meme coin technically, really.
Well, yeah, but it's still like getting towards more like what we call low mid, like either low mid tier or high small tier. Yeah.
Yeah, but Toby's got some legs here, right? Got some legs. Yeah, Toby's got some legs here. But I mean, if you look here, right, like kind of that April 7th, 9th, this area seemed to be more or less like the Solana low for like this is why I was calling alt season around here on the 25th. Over here on the April 25th here, kind of like I think we're in an alt season, and it was pretty much a lot of Solana. The charts are almost similar, and obviously Toby's done very well. Other ones have done just as good.
Yeah, because there's some communities that are just pump and dumps, and then there's some that like people are like, okay, we're holding to specific levels and stuff like that. Like Toby is one of those ones where it's like mostly people have just been buying. People haven't been trading from the lows. People are waiting for those previous highs.
No, obviously goggles existed on Phantom. Poured over here, dropped down to like 6 cents. Where'd it go to? 55. So it had a really good run here.
Yeah, and that was when nothing else in crypto was going on.
Right. So where did it 20 sorry.
Around 420.
So the low right here was literally, I mean, look at this. April. Almost all the charts are all 7th, 8th, 9th, depending on the coin. But pretty much dropped here to 6 cents, sitting at over a 2x right now. And I'm accumulating goggles here still. So obviously I'm getting yield and stuff off some pools. I'm just, DCing into buying bigger bags and goggles. A little tinfoil hat cat as well. It's something I've been recently acquiring as well. I think those are the two best meme coins right now currently, besides maybe Eco Token, but I've already got my bag on Eco. And the no token is going to be funny.
But I saw that one. I was like, yeah, it's okay. Like in terms of like the meme itself, like
the meme itself, they actually found
there, like they can just like it's not going to go down much.
Yeah, it's at 200K market cap. So I threw a scratcher. I threw some money in there. Let's see what happens. But like for the lulls, but they found the chick in Chinatown, and the guy is trying to he's like they have multiple community members throughout London searching around for the lady everywhere. And he's trying to go live tomorrow, basically searching for her, basically. And like, it's going to be they told her like the coins, and then she ended up hitting the dude in the chat and stuff. So I think it's going to do pretty good. And once it has the chance to go viral. So like with the node token, right? It's basically exactly where like I got in damn near, which is like 200, it's a very new coin. Obviously when they launched it, pumped here for a second and came down. This kind of bullshit sort of thing.
It in the sense of like the play on words with what you can do with like nobody and stuff like that. It's kind of similar in that aspect.
Right. But the guy's actively trying hard to pump it. He's actually his video. So something really interesting. He recently uploaded to his Instagram the video and it started going viral on Instagram.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah. I'll share the Instagram to you guys. So this has a chance, if it could 10x, 5x, but you're risking. I mean, right now you're kind of like, you're kind of risking it for the biscuit. But I think this is like if they find her and they make the videos and she's being just as horrible, or she is being just as horrible, it could go viral and they could go to a couple $1 million and there's a good 10 banger there. So I'm willing to put a couple shekels for fun.
You know, it's always funny about like memes with real people or animals or whatever is like how they learn to spin the narrative once the person passes away.
Oh yeah. That was so random. The dog dying. It was very like, oh
yeah.
Hey, that sucks.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of
yeah, but Bert still got legs. It's come back and stuff, and
yeah,
it almost was rugged. I mean, I almost thought it was rugged too. I was like, is this shit really rugged? I mean,
where's Solana? I think Solana's 173.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, once Solana breaks 180, you're gonna start because like all these ones that have created their lows, they've created those with like the correlation to Bitcoin and Solana. But once Solana gets past 180, you're gonna start seeing the Solana memes percolate better, like than they already have been. And then once it passes 200 or 220, like that's when all of a sudden, game is back on for those.
Yeah, so basically, Bert from its lows has done about a 7x from the lows. So if we just think that's not bad. That means this was a sub $10 million coin. So it was probably like probably 4 million market cap or less, basically where it was at. And it did a nice jump here. It's come back. Same thing with Frog. Frog didn't do as much, but it
has a nice chart.
It has a nice chart though. But this is interesting. Like same thing with Punkay and stuff. Like a coin's got legs. If it's still somewhere, like I would say, if it's above 50 million market cap, that shows like there's some holdovers there. Because then there's so much money there. Someone could extract a decent amount of money. Like if someone really like you have a big enough bag, you could pull $1 million out of that. Obviously because as you crash, it would keep crashing and stuff. But like if you look at this right here, right, it's a 2 cents. Peaked out here at about 11 cents. So yeah, so it did a nice like 5x almost, came down here. It's at a 3x right now. It's got legs right now. I mean, if we look at Punkay as well, right?
Yeah.
And it's mostly Solana meme coin, right? Because this is the play right now, right? Solana, same thing with Punkay as an example, right? Look, May 8th, 7th, same thing, right? 6 cents. Came up here to 22 cents. So basically you could have got like almost a 5x. Came back down here, is like pretty comfortably sitting at a 2.5x from its low.
Not
and
bad,
at 92 million market cap, which is
what does it look like on the weekly chart?
Oh, 1 second. Here, let me just full screen this real quick.
Press log once. It's not too bad because like it basically came like. That's what happens with a lot of meme coins. This one's just like over a longer period of time. Like when they do pump, they do come back to like their previous peaks. So it kind of came back to the peak where it originally came out at, which is like a good reaccumulation area before it tries to go on another run. So, I mean, it's possible, if the team is still, backing it and everything, it could go back to all-time highs.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously it's always Solana tied, right? If Solana essentially Solana doubles right now, it'd reach like $340, right? That's a brand new all-time high. That's enough to revive some even dead coins, right? But coins that are kind of middling like this and kind of it's shown like there is people who do believe in it and are trying to buy. It can kind of go back basically. And like and it's not complete. I mean, it's all-time highs. Let's call it the bottom of the candle, 60 cents, right? That's a pretty decent run right there, right? 60 cents, 16 cents. I mean, this thing could obviously go to $1 or in some change and stuff. Obviously, $1 is about to be roughly about a 500 million market cap.
That's where the devs sold.
That's where the devs sold, right? $1. That's you'd obviously want to sell here, probably here. Like you'd probably want to sell 89 cents, 92 cents, 96 cents. FYI. And then if it does keep, you keep a hodl bag, and if it goes higher, you just keep selling, right? But once Solana does cross $300 again, right? I mean, even if it goes to 300, right? It's a lot of coins are doing very well. Like Ponke would probably very obviously be like 30 cents again at that point, right? We're in
might be higher.
Might be higher, but I have seen, since it's not inflationary, it can maybe recover really good. There is with like protocols indexes and stuff like Iridium and stuff like that. Because there's more coins out, especially like a Jupiter, it's sort of like an example, like when we're looking at Shadow's a perfect example, right? Because there's more supply of Shadow online. If we got back to $1.40, we wouldn't be back at the all-time highs on Shadow. It'd be close, maybe $50, $60 off, but it wouldn't be at $1.40. Wouldn't pump Shadow to like $200, $250, right? But we go to 180, yeah, we're back at the all-time highs because we've broken into a new all-time high. It's sort of like you need to like over pump to get back to that pump, and then if it goes higher, then we hit like a new stratosphere effectively. Where some meme coins, if they're not being bought as much, but then later on, we could be at a new all-time high or at the all-time high, and they're still like they've just recovered a little bit, but they're still down. And then we break into a new all-time high, then they just finally recover back to where they used to be. And then usually that's when they cycle out again. Because when a coin doesn't have much volume or doesn't have as much like relevance at that time, let's just say as an example, Solana goes from currently 170 and we go to $400 before we top out in the little mini cycle we're in, and it crashes back down. A coin might just like let's just say Ponke wasn't being bought up that much. Ponke might just go to like 60 cents at $400, and then very likely that's the top right there, because it's like it's just we hit a brand new, we've hit $100 above the all-time high of Solana, and it's barely at like 60 cents. It should have already been at $1 and some change, a new all-time high. So then you could tell at that point it's probably a very good time to sell the whole stack at that point, but this is stuff we'll talk about at the cash out course, you guys.
Yeah, baby.
Very much prudent thing. But yeah. Oh, let me put us back on this page. There we go. Goggle condoms. That's right. Why do you guys like the goggles? It's performed pretty good. You need it's the main meme coin on Sonic. It's the same sort of thing. Like I've been actively looking, like I'm actively looking right now for like what I believe is going to be kind of the main meme coin for Sui. For Pulse Chain, it's very easy. It's obviously the Richard Hart ones, obviously, are the main meme coins there. You can still have other ones like there, and then you have main utility coins like a PGC or a PulseX as an example, right? But you have to find what's kind of like the main bread and butter on each ecosystem, basically. And and like kind of like like you guys, I'm not chasing shit coins. I'm staying on the main. That's a perfectly good idea. Yep. Like I'm not risking like 90% of my portfolio on shit coins, but when you're DCAing, you have a little extra capital, you can put some money on some risk plays.
Yeah. Well, and also like that's, what do you call it? The one thing that we do better than anybody else is being the best generalists in crypto.
Yeah.
Right. We know a lot about a lot. Like a lot of people in crypto only know a lot about a little, right? Like very niched out people. Or they know very little about a lot, where they kind of, what do you call it, like pretend like they know a lot, but they don't really, right? But like we've even had people in crypto be like, the amount of fucking variety of coins and shit that you guys talk about is insane. Like even people who are like pretty heavy in crypto, like have said that to us over the years. Like I always find that kind of funny.
Well, we've had to do it. Obviously, like we have our expertise, right? Obviously, like we have certain portions where like, oh, I'm extremely hyper, like sub 1%er knowledgeable in this one ecosystem. Of course, right? Just as Charlie is, we all have our spots, but we've also had to just put a lot of work in and try to know a lot about a lot of other places, right? A lot of ecosystems and stuff. Like I know a decent amount about Hyperliquid, but I'm not like in that ecosystem, obviously, of course.
I know about ICP, but I'd rather have it, I'd rather hang with the Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, much more in the Juggalos.
Yeah, the Juggalos. It's been a million years since I heard it.
One will Sui blast off. I mean, right now what's happening is like there's because Hyperliquid's being pumped out right now. There's a lot of money rotating to Hyperliquid right now. When that pump dies down, money will flow back into other stuff. It's just it's a season. You just got to be careful not to chase the season.
Yeah, and Bitcoin just needs to get ridiculous a little bit. Like it's hitting new all-time high is great, but it needs to start like doing that like day in, day out. And once that starts happening as well, then altcoins start to grow a backbone, right? They're like, oh my God, price is going to actually like sustain up. Okay. And then the funny thing about altcoins is like people go from like super conservative to like super retarded. It's like there's no in between.
And just kind of like I know El Falco's been here with him for a while, so I'm not chastising him, but this is a really good example. When Sui blasting off, right? That's the whole thing is we teach you guys not to like, and I don't mean this in a sexist way, but like don't invest like we have a thing in the red pill where like women wait in the finish line to fuck the winner, right? You can't be a female because you can't just wait until it's going to all-time highs to then buy it because you're not making that much money. You might get lucky and it just keeps going up a little bit. You make some
trader mentality.
Yeah, your trader mentality, right? But you have to buy value, right? You've got to be like, this is a cool like overweight chick at the gym. I'm gonna talk her up right now. I'm not gonna lay pipe down on her, but I'm gonna talk her up. When she loses the weight, I'm in, dog. I bought a bag at the Lowe's.
And the amount of X's that you can get on that, like it's like you get twice as much for half the price.
Yeah. She has a thought of that now, but she's not going to be in 6 or 8 months and stuff. And I bought the low. I mean, what else is there to say, right? But that's the sort of but that's the sort of thing. Is like you're looking like no one's talking about Sui right now. That's when you buy.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a hack on it. Good. That's when you buy. As long as there's nothing structurally wrong, they just put like a $10 million bounty on like any bugs and stuff or anything and stuff. That's good. You're seeing good things. So you have to DCA when it doesn't look advantageous. That's when it's advantageous.
And I would say actually the hack on CETUS has brought out more of the community on Sui. Like a lot of the community on Sui, like you hadn't really heard a lot of like opinions like and stuff like that. Like it wasn't as like prominent as like Solana and other communities, right? But like from the hack, you saw like a lot of people come out of the woodwork just talking about different things. It's like, oh shit, like the community there is actually a lot bigger than I'd assumed.
Yeah. You said hype will have a problem in 26 and 27. Why is that? Mostly because the bull run will be over by then. And when that happens, that is a chain that's very heavy on leverage. Any chain that's very heavy on leverage or pushes leverage trading, you could have a problem where it doesn't have money to collateralize something, or you basically mass liquidate the entire damn chain effectively, and you're going to have fucking problems. And anytime there's weird stuff like that happening in an enclosed ecosystem like that, because very well it's not decentralized. You guys know that. You should know that if you follow us. They claim decentralization, but come on, dogs, no way. And especially if VCs are pushing it, it's not decentralized at all. Because that's happening, there's going to be a shortfall of capital somewhere. We've been around too long. We've been around with too many Celsius and FTXs and exchanges going down. Eventually, when the tide pulls out, they're going to be butt naked. Yep. And you're going to be holding the bag on that, and it's going to suck. So, obviously, most coins, we're selling almost everything by 26 and 7.
Oh, yeah. How much money of your portfolio are allocating towards popcorn to watch all the other coins die in the bear market? You know what I mean? Like that's like part of the equation you have to figure into what you're going to spend your profits on.
Exactly. Let me see. Hype would be the next Luna. It's going to be the next Luna. I mean, now I made money on Luna, so did Charlie, right?
Yep.
But I got it at $84. I got it at 80. I bought it 17, didn't buy it early, but still made some X's. It's a bull run. This is starting to get kind of weird. I'm starting to see very like secluded people acting very irrationally. How do you know that? Well, I saw it with the Hexicans. I learned my lesson.
Hey, 20% yield, bro.
Yeah.
Unstable coins.
When they're like, I'm a lunatic in a terrorist. Okay. Oh, no. I think I've seen this movie before. I mean, I saw Hexflex affected with Luna people. I was like, and these are not non-Hexicans acting like Hexflex with Luna. And mostly Asian guys acting crazy. I saw popping bottle videos. I saw dudes on yachts doing crazy shit. I was like, where have I seen this before? No. So, I said, let's get out. Charlie's also like, I'm seeing a lot of weird. And of course, we're seeing all the posts and stuff about, obviously, because like there have been tons of people been throwing the warning signal about, hey, this thing could death spiral since the beginning of it.
Oh yeah,
and
a lot of people didn't want to hear that when it was like in the middle of its pump. We were like, watch out, and like a lot of people are just like, that's FUD, bro.
And we'll do some super chats, man. But shout out to Fast Abdul. No, it's boring. HSB Hexagon Sperm Bank is the future of finance. Get impregnated by a Hexagon today.
The last part, I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but they should have found some way to make it HSBC.
Oh, Dot, what the fuck? Abdul, you're killing me with these, dog. God damn. But let's listen to super chats. Mabel Martinez, I see a stock. I'm guessing stock RSI overbought on the weekly. Shouldn't we all sell and wait until it resets, or do you guys wait to cross down to sell? I don't want to eat another correction like back in December of 2024.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at Bitcoin, right? Like, I'm just gonna go to my weekly on my side, just I'm like looking at it or whatever. Like right now, it's barely to the overbought. It's like, so people are like, okay, like if you're looking at the stochastic, I don't know about the stochastic. I just got regular RSI on mine, but like on the weekly, it's like at 67 right now. 70 is where it starts to get overbought. But if you look at the last two peaks, we had a peak of 78 and then a peak of like 88. Right. So like that's like a pretty big range and we're only at 67. So that just means we have like a lot of run left, in my opinion, for, like the next couple of months. Now, once we get into all the stuff that's happening with, tariffs and, right after the 4th of July, there could be some volatility around that, right? Might be a good take profit time before that. And then there might be another run. So I wouldn't set like, unless RSI is like above 85, like there's still room to run, and crypto does test extremes in the bull market.
Yeah. At any point, if you're looking at your portfolio and like you're taking a snapshot, I keep telling that, like, where you're like, I always notice my portfolio, it always hits this round number right here, or very close to it. You could take a little off, or you could suspend the DCA, just put it into stables. Don't stop the DCA. Keep building up a stable position. We get that dip, you have capital to buy. We have guys right now that are just like, I'm not buying nothing until the next CMC. Totally okay. Yeah, it's smart actually. You have capital to deploy basically, right?
Well, and they've already been allocated to positions.
Correct.
So money in the market.
Why don't we put money onto DEXs like Ethereum? We do with other ecosystems. Because the DEXs on Ethereum are not for normal users really. You can take profit if you have a coin on Ethereum and like a Pepe. Pepe pumps like crazy. I can sell Pepe off into Ethereum, tons of profit. Cool. But unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars of liquidity, the money you're making is chiclets. It's really not that much. Or you're going into huge like impermanent loss territory with like you're increasing this like the CL essentially, or the leverage position that it's a little dangerous, and you can probably get chopped up and you lose more money than you'll gain in terms of fees effectively, right? The liquidity provider game on Ethereum is for whales effectively. Now, as a cash out strategy, you could increase the impermanent loss substantially, gain tons of fees, and then as the price goes higher, you're getting rugged into stables, but that's the point because that's what you're trying to do. That's a different thing, right? Versus on DEXs, right? In the past, you used to earn a lot of ink on Pulse Chain, so it makes sense to provide liquidity because you would gain not just fee. You would essentially gain a ton of ink token that'll offset your impermanent loss on that. On Sonic, you gain a ton of shadow. On Radium, you gain Radium or Jupiter token if they provided it. I think Radium does, but not Jupiter. But basically, these DEXs have inflation or coins that could possibly be worth more money over time. So the coins that you're getting bribed with are worth it, basically. Or on more developed chains, you're not really getting much. You're not really getting much. The fees aren't really offsetting the impermanent loss, so it's not worth the risk, effectively. Yeah. Oh, this is for you, Charlie. I'll leave this one for you, man.
Why they hate on ICP? I know they had a VC dump at launch, but all the research I've done on it seems solid. Is there something I'm missing? I mean, that's the VC dump thing is the main thing to pay attention to, right? It's like, it's kind of like Ripple in the sense of, if you always have the VCs that have a lot of tokens that they're just sitting on, whenever it does pump, they're just taking free money. So,
yeah, it's that plus, like, think about it. Are any of you guys going to use something called World? Like, I mean, think about it, like World Internet Computer or anything like it's just like it's very unlikely like you're going to use any of that stuff. Or like this is a code base that everyone's going to use and stuff, and nobody uses it. It's like you know right away if like you're using it every day on your computer and stuff, and you're like, wow, this thing's actually going to be used a lot. Fuck, like there's a chance. Like I could totally forgive someone for falling for like basic attention token because like I use a web browser. I understand. Right, that was just unbelievable fuck up on them right there.
They could have done so much better, yeah.
But imagine that you were using ICP token and you were using it as your browser and stuff, and everybody did use it in crypto. Like that makes sense, right? But there's no utility side. There's the regular users not using it, and then we don't know any developers are using it at all to build anything at all. Like I don't know a single developer in my whole life who's ever told me, yeah, I mean, I was gonna like. I've been really been using ICP like crazy to build on Pulse Chain or on Sonic or on Ethereum or on Arbitrum. Like, I've never met one ever in my life, at all. Right? Like, if me and Charlie were going to all these developer meetings or like meeting a bunch of founders, and then we're like, oh, we're using ICP's architecture to build out our brand new blockchain. I'm like, oh wow. And we started hearing it, like, yeah, maybe ICP's finally cooking something. Okay, nope. That's not happening.
And if you hear that now, you're like, the fuck?
Yeah. At the peak of the market, everyone's saying everything because everything's worth money.
Yeah.
Right. But right now when like it's sell in May and go away, like no one's like that's when you should, when sell in May and go away, right? This is when you buy right now. When you buy.
ICP and ILB have a partnership now.
Pour more salt in the wound. Damn it, dog.
It's like, yeah, that was a good one.
WorldCoin, no. I mean, WorldCoin's scary, dude, because they were like scanning your retinal data for what?
What do you call it? For the New World Order.
Yeah. So you think you're gonna go? I'm going to FIFA and pay for everything in WorldCoin? No. What? Like they're just stealing your data to sell it to somebody else. I mean, like basically let it go bankrupt. The data's there and they'll sell it off to somebody.
It's like, okay, how many things can we convince millennials of? We're going to take your retina. We're going to take your fingerprint. We're going to take your 23andMe DNA. We're going to take how many things?
We'll pay you just steps. Charlie.
We're going to give you the what do you call it? The pandemic shot. We'll give you a cheeseburger, bro. It's all good. Like, man, what's the interesting thing about the millennial generation is like, it's like there's like before 9/11, there's after 9/11.
Yeah.
It's like before 9/11, the world was actually like peaches and cream, right? And it's like after 9/11, it's like, they're trying to steal all your biometric data and like turn you into Terminator. It's like, damn.
Right. So, okay, we'll go to Vic here. Hey guys, I'm not gonna do this percentages, dude. ETH, SUI, S. Let me go to the end here. Where do I put my?
Those are very specific percentages.
Very specific percentages. My God, brother. To put my USDT, 2.3%, $1,700. Thanks. Okay. All right. Cool. So we got Pepe, we got eHex, Solana, Dot, Deep. Okay. So you're very heavy on Ethereum. That's good. So obviously, I'd build up the smaller positions besides Ethereum because you already have, 44% of the portfolio is in Ethereum.
But I would say keep the Ethereum above 30%.
Yeah, keep it there.
Well, I mean, you could, if you wanted to use the Ethereum to like bring it, like you brought it down to like 35% and you like sprinkle some of it over the other stuff, like that's fine, I think. But like the one thing I see with people is like they ended up using their ETH on so much stuff, they end up being like below 20% on ETH and just heavy on everything else, which can work, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like a Bitcoin back when it was less than $10,000. So everybody's like, people are like, hey, if you have a whole Bitcoin, like you're going to do very well, right? And it's like, well, now you try to get a whole Bitcoin, it's like, good luck compared to before. So You know,
Right.
the same thing will happen with ETH over the long term. It doesn't feel like that now, but like having a good chunk of ETH is never a bad thing, I think.
So if you were to lower the Ethereum down to 35%, I would take that 9%, add it to Sui, S, and PulseX evenly.
Yeah.
I think that's a good chunk there. Gala, you need to not add any more to Gala. Like it's probably just because you have enough Gala. Though.
I mean, Gala between 6 to 10 cents might be a good rotation play at that point in the summer.
Yeah.
Cardano always does something.
Yeah, Cardano always. So you could add a little to Cardano. I mean, Pepe. I think Cardano, Pepe, maybe some EHEX, Solana. The thing is with the Solana, and like basically, like you have like that's scraps there, where like you're basically either putting the meme coins or like the price appreciation doesn't matter that much, really.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go for price appreciation on Solana, you gotta either go meme coins or Radium, and it's like
pretty much.
Yeah.
I like that you have deep though, obviously, but like it's gonna because eventually there will be a run on Sui.
Yeah,
you're adding to Sui and
that percentage. Yeah,
that might be one where you might the increase. You might end
take
up
take the dot and put it all into deep.
Basically. Yeah, I mean, put it all. Because I know Vic's been watching this for a while, but like take this, take the dot because it's like it's going to take a while to pump anyway. So put it, you might as well risk it into deep, and then I either add some Pepe or I would just go Pepe probably because it's been sort of shown every time it pumps it really does pump. It out pumps Doge for the most part. There's going to be a point in time when Doge gets the ETF and Doge will out pump Pepe at that point, but then there'll be the clawback.
Yeah, for a short period. Yeah,
for a short period of time, and. Yeah, I mean, basically add there. You could probably add a little to FET as well and stuff. There's going to be at some point. There's going to be an AI rotation again. There's going to be one,
and it's a good profit taking opportunity because I think, what do you call it? Yeah, when it happens, it runs and then like it comes back down real fast and like it doesn't return.
Yeah, and then if you don't want to put that into deep because you might take some of your Sui and put it into deep, spin the dot into a render. Having 2 AI plays or something like that, like a render play wouldn't be terrible. That way you have both sides of FET and render, and you've got the two. You got the two right there. I mean, you've got Pepsi and you got Pepsi Coke right there, basically. But that's the way I played, dog. Edith said that GameFi and AI tokens can perform. That's great. That's what you buy. That's what you run. But you get the bags and then you put them away. I was hoping if you have the first goal, have time to choose first. That's good. Yeah, but this is when, like, remember, everyone wouldn't shut up about AI tokens a few months ago. AI was the most hype thing in the world. You know, Render's going to take over the planet. You know, fetch, boy. And then what happened? Like, same thing with Casper. Casper, you couldn't turn without someone talking about Casper.
Hey, it's a new Bitcoin, I heard.
Yeah, it's new Bitcoin, right? The same thing too, like when I owned the PDI guys, right? When PDI, well, before all the when everyone was talking about PDI, I'd sell PDI.
Yeah.
Make some really good money. When no one was talking about PDI, wow, the Hex guys haven't annoyed me about PDI. Okay, I'll buy some right now. It did not fail me ever. Because it's very simple. When the noise is getting crazy, PDI, Miguel, Charlie, talk about PDI. Do you guys own some? Yeah, I just sold it.
It's paying, bro. I love
you. You just sold billions of dollars for nothing, for peanuts, Miguel and Charlie.
The one I can make so many bad jokes. So I'll just
yeah. I don't know why, but his tokens, like every time there's like, we've made a character about Matt Furries. I mean, because he's the creator of Pepe, right? They just not done well.
Well, yeah, they just keep knocking off like the other random side characters he's had.
Yeah, if he actually launched it, it might get some legs. But it's nobody. But he's not launching them.
Yeah,
like at least not to my knowledge. If he's actually backing one, I'd be like, all right, I'll take a look. Right, I'm not going to fade. Right, but yeah, it's a 3 million. It just launched. It's all green cans. A 3.3 million market cap token. I'm just going to stay away until there's a big retracement on it, basically. And if it survives at that point, that's when I'd get in, basically. Yeah, I'm all right. What's this? ICP's washed up. The real Chads are buying retard now on Pulse Chain. It's going to $1. This is a lie.
To be honest, I'd rather bet on that than PDI.
Honestly, yeah, I would. Yeah. Like, and it's so funny with the whole DAI stuff. Like our chain's been flawless, dog. PDI got exploited, and like DAI got we have an exploit on Pulse Chain now too. Like legitimately. No. It was cooked in. Richard meant to do it. No.
Hey, at least we didn't roll back the clock.
Yeah. If he launched it, it was great. Yeah, he would have to launch it. Why do you think like I didn't put any money into nobody until I knew that the founder liked it and was okay with it and is promoting it? Because if the actual founder of Pepe decided, hey, I'm making a Pepe coin, dog, I would ape about 40% of my other Pepe bag into it, probably. Because why? Because the actual founder who actually owns the IP for Pepe and really he's backing it, he would do good. Another guy, who is that really famous artist? Bogle. He was like the big artist for like
the NFT guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy though.
Yeah, what was his name?
Some of his pictures got a little weird, but Beeple. Oh, Beeple, yeah. People decided, hey, I'm gonna make an NFT coin or something like that, NFT meme coin or whatever. It would do very well.
It would do amazing well. Yeah, the fact
that
he hasn't done that,
I don't think it would outpump like the Penguin coin or whatever. But it would get like 500 million market cap. Yeah, he's weird, but like weird people, woke as fuck. Yeah, but the wokies are putting money into it. Like it's true. Like they'll put money into it. Like you have to look, right? Like if Bored Ape Yacht Club says, "Hey, we're launching a token. This is going to happen at some point. We're launching a token. If you hold any of the Bored Ape Yachts, you're going to get an airdrop of tokens. That token's going to go to $1 billion. It will, just because it's a huge IP. And now we've taken the liquidity that's locked up in these tokens, and now it can finally be traded finally. Thank God. And then people are going to, it's going to get listed on every fucking exchange because a ton of these people within Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini and Crypto.com have Bored Ape Yacht Club, NFTs still. And they're like, I want my coin to have fucking extra liquidity because, I got trapped in this fucking useless NFT. So all these main NFT projects from last cycle that did go to millions, there's a very high chance they're going to convert into it. We're going to have like an NFT meme coin cycle.
Yeah, it might only be a few, but like the ones that do well.
It'll be one cycle though. It'll be one cycle because because that's all we're going to get for the cycle. Because this is the only saving grace for NFTs this cycle. It's true. I mean.
So brutal for NFTs.
If you asked Miguel and Charlie in 2022, we would have said, yeah, probably NFTs are coming. You ask veteran Miguel and DCC right now, hell no.
Yeah, they got decimated. It was just like,
it's just
RIP, bro. Like anybody who is like niched out in NFTs only, I'm like, feel bad for you, son. Yeah.
OpenSea fucked up not making a token. Woo, they fucked up because obviously their volume is down a lot. I mean, they're still making money, but like their volume has like gone down by 90%.
Yeah.
So like decimation, basically, right?
Only wash trading left.
Yeah, wash trading it and money laundering or whatever the fuck they're doing. Rip NFTs, but NFTs will come back at one point, but it'll probably be like RWAs or or probably they just don't have enough dumb retail to support it at this time. We will at one cycle is going to be very dumb retail, like kind of to go to the cycle theory before we sign off. We're in the innovator stage cycle in the cycle theory, right? So 17, we essentially created a lot of coins from that point in time, pretty much vaporware, and then it was the vaporware, like we're trying to make L1s. The L1s weren't created. Then we actually were created in 2021, massive tons of retail. This is an innovator phase, so it's getting like it's just real DeFi people, real people in crypto, and then TradFi. Basically, the 29 cycle is going to be fucking retail, retail, and they're going to buy the top and get very wrecked. But
good for our bags.
I mean, we're repeating that 1920 cycle. I mean, maybe if we're lucky, maybe it bleeds into 32 possibly, but like, we're in the roaring 20s right now of crypto. It really is a reckless speculation, exactly. But Charlie, man, when's your next stream, dude?
We'll be jumping on tomorrow on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern on the normal Cultivate Crypto channel. So going to be getting at all the latest charts, information, everything that's going on, and it's going to be good.
Definitely, and I'll be back this Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, possibly a bonus stream. We're going to go to the Bitcoin conference. We might do some bonus streams and stuff. So I might have a Thursday or Friday stream as well, live from Las Vegas, Nevada and stuff. So it's going to be pretty cool. We got something cooking. Charlie got something cooking in the oven right now. That's kind of cool.
I've alluded to it on a few shows.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the CMC or the Citadel knows what's up if they've been paying attention?
I gotta bow down. This is kind of Charlie called me and I was like, wow. Pretty cool. So we got stuff cooking for the CMC, you guys.
Yeah, and to be honest, some of those things might last throughout the summer because there's various things we can parlay that onto. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. So you guys don't forget, man. Get in, or you're gonna stay clocking in. You guys have to buy the stuff you like, even if it's beat up. Buy it. Obviously, the GameFi stuff, you guys already have your GameFi bags. You shouldn't be buying anything anymore in GameFi. But in the AI sector, the L1s, maybe some of your favorite meme coins, take this little retrace to lock in some positions right now because if it looks like shit, we know that later on when it pumps, everyone's going to be pumped. Everyone's like, buy Sui at $15 or at $3. I don't know which one, 3 or 15. Where do I lock in?
Better.
Well, anyway, with that, man, I'll catch you guys later. We'll be on Moongang next week, Sunday on Charlie's channel. No, next week on Monday's channel. A week from today, basically.
Yeah, we're trying out a few Monday Moongangs to see how that goes.
Yeah, but with that, man, peace, and see you on the next one.